welcome you to the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield North Carolina. Blue Cross and Blue Shield North Carolina. Be bold, be confident, live fearless. Thank you for joining us alongside my partner Peter Montemurno, Evan Budrovich with you today. Northampton County has won 7 straight games to make this state championship. They've never won a title. Meanwhile, for Robbinsville, 13 state championships. What style will come out on top here today?
Yeah, 13 state championships are great. It's a great thing. And if you look at Northampton County and the Jaguars and head coach George Privet, he's putting his team in a position where they won 7 straight games. And I think for them today, that triple option they run on offense is so good because you force the defense to do their job on every single play. And that's the style I think comes out on top today.
Let's focus on our Ingles food for thought leading into this matchup. Both teams dominant in the running game, and it's Robbinsville with one of the best 1-2 punches in the state.
Yeah, the 2 running backs they have in the back, Evan, Lex Hooper and Riley Anderson, tremendous running backs, over 50 touchdowns between those two. And this team has a legacy, and head coach D. Walsh has said it. They have 13 titles coming into today, hoping for their 14th. But again, with George Privet and the Northampton County Jaguars, they say we have to win the turnover war today. They've turned it over 24 times. Cannot do that today. Just ride the wave of momentum that they've had 7 straight games.
When we come back, kickoff from the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
When was the last time you felt free? It's time to uncover that feeling again with the compassion of a cross and shield, widely accepted by doctors and specialists, and the power of a card that opens doors in all 50 states, giving you the freedom to love, to dream, to dance like no one is watching. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Live fearless.
This is where it starts, where your story begins. This is the trail you blaze yourself. And step by step, you get stronger, faster, better. This is where it starts. How will you finish? Ingles, we're with you every step of the way.
Welcome back to the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. For more, we head down to the third member of our team, Chris Hooks.
Thank you very much, Evan. Again, it looks like we've been lucky here today at Wallace Wade Stadium. The rain from yesterday, it's gone. Sun's out, as you can see. Again, a little chilly, but again, the weather is not going to be a problem here today. But to dig deeper into this matchup, Robbinsville head coach D. Walsh, that school has won so many state championships. He has a clock in his office where every hour is replaced by years in the state championship. He's already gotten the leap year hour. He's looking to add number 14 to his mantle here today. And for Northampton County, just about a decade ago, they consolidated 2 schools into one. There was some controversy, not really united. Well, this team this year with that run has united an entire county, and they're looking to finish that off here today. We'll see if that happens here as we send it back to you guys in the booth.
Thanks, Chris. And as we get you set for this matchup, George Privet, the head coach of Northampton County. The pressure is off for this program, and they're playing very loose heading into this title.
They really are. Pressure was off after week 7. They were 4-3, and they said, you know what? They know they're not going to be number 1, ranked number 1. They're not going to win the conference. So all those expectations were gone, and let's just play football. And that's what Coach George Privet, he has so much confidence in his football team. Talking to us this week, it's going to be exciting. He's excited for this first title game.
For Robbinsville, D. Walsh won 2 titles as a player in high school and now is trying to win another state title for this prolific program. His club undefeated throughout the regular season, a tough team to slow down.
They are a tough team to slow down. Again, they're going to bring it, that 1-2 punch we talked about in the onset. Coach D. Walsh, as you see him right here, he has a prepared team as well. There's a legacy behind this team. You just saw in pregame when we were down there, Evan, it's just like almost robotic. It's that they've been here before. They know what to do. They know what the legacy, and they know what's at hand and at stake for them.
Robbinsville's last title in 2014. 5 years later, trying to secure a championship today. Our captain's now heading out to midfield to get you all set for this matchup. Northampton County looking for their first ever state championship in the entire county. They've never won a state title, one of 8 counties to never win a championship. And for Robbinsville, such a dominant run out of the Smoky Mountain Conference, a league that's won 5 of the last 6 crowns here in 1A North Carolina football.
In Robbinsville, and Coach D. Walsh said it this week to us that
Coach,
it's we, not me. It's the moniker that they've rallied around so far this year.
You are on the sidelines. Respecting.
So as they go over the coin toss on this field here at Wallace Wade Stadium, Brooks Field at Duke University, we're talking to both coaches. Neither has played here at Duke before. A new environment, a new atmosphere, and it'll be curious to see as Northampton wins the toss. They want the football first, and can this rushing attack of the Jaguars score first?
Hey, you know what? We talked about this. What's going to happen? Who wins the toss? And we said, I think if Northampton wins the toss, they're going to take it. They want to ride the wave. They have the momentum going into this game, and that's exactly what they did.
Northampton County, they score 35 points a game. It is all on the ground, over 300 yards rushing, and there's some key running backs. Nchsaa, he's been a workhorse, and also Eric Robinson, a 1-2 punch that tries to counter Robbinsville here as they get the ball first.
Well, the running back, Eric Robinson, Evan, you said it, and they talking to the coach this week. Coach Privet said in an open field, he can make people miss. Watching film on him this week, for sure, if he gets in an open field, it's tough to make a tackle on Eric Robinson in space.
These Robbinsville Black Knights have been dominant. They average 40 points a game, and they have taken care of business all the way, undefeated through the regular season. They'll kick the football off first as we're set to go here in the 1A state championships. Thank you for joining us here alongside Peter Montemurno, Evan Budrovich with you for the first of 2 games here today, presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Boy, the question's coming in. Could Robbinsville be stopped, and can this upstart Northampton County team continue this unprecedented run as a number 4 seed? They've been the top seed the last 3 years. They've been upset. This time, the pressure's off, and this team's playing comfortable.
That's it, Evan. There is no pressure on this football team, and you even saw it this week in the press conference with Coach Privet and all the interviews he did since. He's just very calm, and that obviously permeates throughout the entire sideline.
This is Cody Klein, the sophomore kicker, to get us underway here in Durham. And away we go, a pooch kick to get things started. And a fair catch is bobbled. That is loose. And what a start for Robbinsville. An onside kick recovery. Clayson Lane gets the football, and Robbinsville at the 30-yard line for their first drive.
It was a very high kick. He was looking into the sun. Right at that 30-yard line in the far side is right where the shadow meets the sun. So here you see on the replay, right towards the boundary, fumbles that football. And wow, number 15 right there, Clayson Lane for Robbinsville with the early turnover. And here they go right at it.
Robbinsville right back to work from the 30, and the first handoff goes nowhere. Stuffed in the backfield. What a stop by this defense, and all over it to make the tackle big, number 23, Javante Scott.
Yeah, Javante Scott, what a nice job that Javante does getting through the line of scrimmage as you see the starting lineups.
Here today's North Carolina Athletic Association starting lineups for Robbinsville. It's that rushing attack. Anderson and Hooper, so fantastic, over 50 touchdowns. They don't throw the ball particularly much. Just 9 touchdowns through the air this season. Here's a fly sweep to Anderson, trying to get outside. Nowhere to go, and Anderson is dropped for another loss, back to the 38.
As you see, number 9 there, Jaquante Fonterloy does a great job, but who made this play work was Samaje Mitchell, number 2, the linebacker on the outside.
For Northampton's defense, the lineup presented by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, this team gets after the quarterback. 16 interceptions, 22 fumbles. They have playmakers all over the field. Setting up a 3rd and 18 for Robbinsville. Looking to pass. Swinging it out to his first option, and Lawson lost it inside the 30. He is short of the sticks, but Lawson gets a huge chunk of the yardage down to the 24. And now it's a 4th and 4 coming up for Robbinsville.
They tried that slip screen to the near side here, but a nice job by the defense of the Jaguars getting to the perimeter, not allowing the first down marker to be reached, setting up that 4th and short.
Seth Lawson 23 receptions on the season. Leading target for Nathan Collins, the junior quarterback. And Lawson now on 4th down, trying to move the chains here for Robbinsville, recovering the pooch kick on the opening drive of the football game. Now under center goes Collins. Collins taking it himself. Tripped up behind the line of scrimmage and dropped. Samaje Mitchell, a 4th down stop for Northampton County.
We marveled at Samaje Mitchell before the game, Evan, to see what kind. He looked like an athlete. You see right here, if you see on the right side of your screen, down the line goes Nathan Collins, but Samaje Mitchell plays off of his block. He refused to be blocked, makes a tackle for loss in the backfield. Turn ball over on downs.
This drive signifies Northampton's season, starting with some adversity early on and getting a stop from Samaje Mitchell. Now a look at Zion Kendall, the quarterback in this option offense. He keeps it on the first play and is tripped up behind the line of scrimmage. Excellent open field tackle, big number 24 in on the play, and a loss of 4 here for Northampton.
That was a great job getting across the line of scrimmage. Another tackle for loss here for this Robbinsville defense.
Northampton, meanwhile, trying to respond. They average 35 a game. The tailbacks of Robinson, Nchsaa, and Mitchell all over 800 yards on the ground this season. An excellent duo. This time it's an inside handoff, moving left. Good broken tackle worked out by Nchsaa. And Nchsaa picks up half the yardage, a 3rd and 8 coming up for Northampton County. Najee Newsom, the all-conference tailback, trying to battle this defense for Robbinsville. They have 10 interceptions on the year, 38 sacks. Going to be tough to do against this run-heavy attack. 3rd and 7, following the North Carolina Athletic Association starting lineup on defense for D. Walsh and Robbinsville. Kendall gets the snap, tosses it out to Newsom. Newsom is dragged down, and Grady Garland, the senior, grabs him for a loss of 3. A 4th and 10 coming up for Northampton County.
Well, you can see why Grady Garland has 10 tackles for loss this year. Very patient on the outside. You see your left side of the screen. Grady Garland does a nice job of playing outside in. Attack the upfield shoulder of Najee Newsom, force him back inside. Great stop by the defensive end for Robbinsville.
We asked Coach George Privet about his special teams coming into the week. He says we do not kick. So now at a 4th and 10, inside his own 30, a decision to be had here. The punt unit is out. A late man motion again. That's going to be a penalty on Northampton County, and our first penalty of today's affair.
We have timeout, Northampton.
They had personnel issues there, Evan, so they had to call the timeout to avoid the flag.
When we come back, Northampton County to punt it away early in this first quarter in the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship, presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield.
Attitude that how you play matters more than the final score.
Sportsmanship isn't something you choose to do at certain times.
It requires constant effort.
The score of any athletic event is generally forgotten over time.
But the actions of players, coaches, and spectators can result in lifelong memories.
Help us make the right call by exhibiting good sportsmanship at all times.
Sportsmanship. Together, we make the right call. This message brought to you by the North Carolina High School Athletic Association with North Carolina Farm Bureau.
Early first quarter action here in the 1A State Championship. Kwame Punt back to punt. The freshman, just his 9th boot of the season. A low snap. Now Pitt throws a Hail Mary, and as that's an incomplete pass, Seth Lawson plays the ball inside the 20. He is tackled at the 15. Some confusion on the Robbinsville sideline. That is not a punt.
No.
It should be Robbinsville football at the 28-yard line.
Yes, he fumbled that ball and picked it up and threw it to zero intended receiver. And that is definitely an incomplete pass. It is not a punt.
Head coach D. Walsh all over it as his unit looks to win a 14th state championship. Now, Peter, they've had the ball inside the 30 on 2 straight possessions. What must they do to score this time around?
Well, I think from this point, they've seen the speed and they've seen the aggressiveness of the defense for the Jaguars. and they got to make sure they gash them on the inside. It looks like they have a lot of perimeter speed, Evan.
Back under center goes Nathan Collins, the junior quarterback. He feeds to Anderson. Anderson picks up a good chunk here on first down before being muscled by a wall of defenders for Northampton County. This defense is fast, it's aggressive, but try to slow down Anderson, a 1,900-yard rusher who just set his conference all-time record for rushing yards, a key piece for Robbinsville.
And he's a great running back, and the defense for the Jaguars did a nice job cutting back on the outside. The pursuit angles of the defense on the backside were terrific.
2nd and 5 officially. This time it's Hooper. And he is right up against the sticks, a yard short of the first down marker. 3rd and short coming up for Robbinsville. The tackle there by Jeremiah Johnson, the junior defensive lineman.
And that's all this offense needs for Robbinsville. 2 yards, 3 yards, and then they put themselves in 3rd and very makeable. A nice job by the tackle, Grady Garland, pulling from far side to near side and creating a lane for the run.
Northampton bringing the blitz. Huge hole. Inside the 10. And spun down to the 6-yard line goes Riley Anderson. Back into the ball game, and he moves the chains on 3rd down.
What a beautiful block by the fullback, Ty Harrell, on that play. If you look to see Ty Harrell, number 32, the right side of your screen, walls off number 2, Samaje Mitchell for the Jaguars, allowing a big gain there on 3rd down, 1st and goal.
Northampton backed up on its 2nd straight drive defensively. Now Robbinsville trying to punch it in. Going left, Anderson dives to the 1. And tripped up at the 2-yard line, so 2nd and goal for Robbinsville. An offense that's averaged 30 points per game in this playoff run through the 1A state tournament. Robbinsville Black Knights undefeated on the season. They have played 2 close games leading up to this state final, and now trying to jump out in front here in this first quarter. Collins gets the snap, gives to Anderson. Touchdown, Robbinsville. A 2nd drive resulting in points, and the Black Knights are out in front.
Riley Anderson gets into the end zone with his 26th touchdown of the year, running behind the captain. Clayson Lane does a great job at the goal line to create that lane, and Riley didn't have to do anything but walk straight in. You see at the top of your screen, Clayson Lane doing a nice job walling off the outside to allow that running lane for Riley to strike the end zone.
When we come back, more from the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Robbinsville converts on a defensive stop, a quick drive of 30 yards, now a 7-0 lead. As Northampton gets the football back, they were forced to a 3-and-out their first time with the ball. And here comes Klein to boot it away. Another pooch kick. This one in the hands of Najee Newsom. Newsom cuts across the middle of the field, gets a block at the 25. Newsom pushing down the far sideline, out near midfield. And what a start for Northampton County, down to the 39-yard line as the Jaguars go back to work.
And that's how you want to respond if you're the Jaguars. You want to get that ball with a good kickoff return and get it to midfield to put your offense in a great position. This offense, again, that has over 4,400 yards rushing. As you see Najee Newsom looking for his blockers right there, running near side to far side, up the far side boundary, and getting near midfield. Great start for the Jaguars.
Northampton County going to their quarterback here, Zion Kendall, the senior, under center. Gives the straight handoff up the middle for a gain of 5. And for more, we go down to Chris Hooks on the sideline.
Hey, Evan, during that timeout, you could see the team, the players themselves, the coaches weren't really saying anything to the players after that touchdown scored by Robbinsville. They just pretty much were telling each other, hey, we've been here before, don't panic. And they pretty much said that they were giving Robbinsville those advantages here early on. We'll see how that plays out here on this drive.
Northampton playing from behind early, now trying to respond. Kendall breaks a tackle, Goes right up near the sticks, and he's 2 yards short. Zion Kendall, the senior leader of this team. He's the vocal leader, but also very quiet, and that's what Coach Privet loves about his quarterback.
Coach Privet said he only speaks when he needs to, and he's a guy that has been running this triple option like he's been running it for 3 years, and as a senior, he only started running it last year. You look at Zion, 5'7", 160-pound senior, plays like he's 200 pounds at that quarterback position, the engine that makes this triple option run.
Northampton County must get to the 49-yard line to move the chains. Kendall with some runners in front. A tough, hard-earned 2 yards for Robinson, but he's short of the sticks. Another stop by this Robbinsville defense, and again, a fourth down opportunity for Northampton County.
And we talked about it at the onset, Evan, where a Robbinsville defense has to do their job against this Jaguar offense because they could get 2 yards, 3 yards in every given down. But if you're not playing your 111th, Evan, they could gas you for 50 yards.
Eric Robinson looks a bit gassed out there after the tackles. He heads back on the field. 4th and 2 for Northampton County. 3 tailbacks behind the quarterback, Kendall. A toss out to Newsom. He is spun down and no first down. A stop made by Rossi Wachacha, the junior defensive lineman, and a third straight drive ending on this half of the 50 by this Robbinsville defense.
Wachacha, Coleman Cable, a lot of guys on that defensive side of the football, and what they're doing is they're fast flowing. They see the steps. They've done a lot of film study. You see here to the right side of your screen, the entire defense, as Newsom runs right into his own guy. And it looked like ran into number 20, Elijah Holland.
Back comes Nathan Collins, looking to throw this time. Has an open man at the 40. Working up the far sideline goes Lex Hooper. And a quick gain of 14 for Robbinsville.
Lex Hooper's the guy that normally runs the football 1,500 yards, but he also leaks out to the outside in the flat. So if you're not paying attention to him in the passing game, he will gas you down the field as he limps back to the huddle here, as you see on the screen. Number 20 appearing to be in a little bit of pain, but staying out there.
Lex Hooper last week, 55 yards on the ground. He had 1 catch for a touchdown. Right back to work on 1st and 10. The handoff to Anderson. He gets 1 yard. And this Northampton Jaguars defense all over Riley Anderson, the senior tailback. A nice tackle by Travius Garner, the senior defensive lineman.
And Lex Hooper, number 20, is really hurting. He's limping considerably out there, and he has to go down. He was trying to look like Chandler Edwards was trying to help him out, but he had to get down on the field as the trainers come out, and he hurt himself prior to that previous play.
Lex Hooper, 28 touchdowns this year for Robbinsville. Chris Hooks will check out Lex and give us an update as things become available, but Lex slow to get off the field. A big loss now for this Robbinsville rushing attack that has leaned so heavily on Hooper and Anderson. We see now number 24, Xavier Rattler, check in, trying to help out this rushing attack for the Black Knights. 3 minutes left in this first quarter. Robbinsville, 3 drives, all starting in Northampton County territory. Collins, misdirection, good open space for Anderson, down the near sideline, inside the 10, and Anderson is knocked out of bounds at the 8-yard line, a gain of 24 on the ground.
And one of the reasons why that play works so well is the perimeter. Good wide receivers can catch the ball and run. Great wide receivers can also block in running plays. And number 11, Seth Lawson, you see right there in the middle of your screen, did a nice job of leading the way down the field, allowing Robbinsville to get right near the goal line.
Lawson, a two-way player, one of the best tacklers on this defense, and now setting up the rushing attack for Anderson again. Anderson looks to get to the sideline, and Newsom spins him down. A gain of just 1 as Nchsaa Newsom all over the field on that tackle.
Goodness, Nchsaa Newsom, number 4. There's an athlete right there, 42 tackles coming into today, and he owns that edge on that last play.
Robbinsville inside the 10-yard line on the second straight drive, trying to jump ahead early in this first quarter. Nchsaa Newsom, the coach Privet described him best. He has that military background and mindset, very focused, very yes sir, no sir, and he's a hardworking player on this defense. 2nd and goal from the 7. Misdirection to Anderson. Up the middle he goes and into the end zone. Riley Anderson What a start for Robbinsville here in this first quarter.
Right in the A-gap, which is occupied by the guards, Grady Garland, Candler Edwards in the center, Chris Shope leading the way for Anderson's 27 touches. See right here, that little jab step to the right, and Riley Anderson comes back to the middle of the field, right in the middle of your screen, getting into the end zone, almost running over the ref to get into the end zone. Nothing is preventing him from getting into the end zone today.
27th touchdown of the year for Anderson, and D. Walsh's Robbinsville Black Knights are up 14-0. For a head coach who has been down this road before, won in 2014, the state title, but lost the following year. And he said his team has to be careful of that factor, facing a hungry Northampton County team that has fallen behind in games before and shown with that 7-game win streak a chance to come right back and upset some teams.
For sure. I mean, Robbinsville, obviously they have their legacy we talked about, and they had that 2014 win, and Coach D. Walsh knows that it's any given Saturday, anything could happen, especially in the state championship game. So they've prepared all week, done a great job, have shown that they're executing the game plan they came into today for.
D. Walsh was telling us this team has maybe more athleticism on the perimeter than any team he's seen.
Yep.
So far, it's paying off.
So far so good. And if you're the Jaguars on the side, George Privet, coach, they have had adversity all year they've had to overcome. So even down by 14 in the state championship game, they still feel they have a great shot.
Newsom inside his 20, looks to cross the field, breaks one tackle. Newsom to the 25, turning to the sideline at the 40, and bangs into the kicker. Klein with a touchdown-saving tackle as Newsom firing up his crowd out to the 42-yard line.
Got two returns that are set up for him to get from the near side to the far side. He catches it all the way over by the 20 on the left side of the screen. You see him come all the way across your screen to the far side of the field, and he has the speed to turn the corner, get those shoulders parallel, and lowers his shoulder. Yes, he was still out of bounds, but lowers his shoulder, getting it. And sometimes hits like that, they start to get your team going. They start to excite your team when they see a hit like that, as we just saw on that return by Newsom.
Northampton County, they've had 3 drives, a fumbled kickoff, and 2 fourth-down stops on their half of the field. Here's a toss out to Newsom. Goes through a tackler and is spun down. A flag on the play. We'll go down to Chris Hooks with more on Lex Hooper, the tailback.
I got an update on Lex Hooper. He is back in the game. He was not going to be denied getting back in the contest. He is in some pain, and it looks like it may be somewhat of a high ankle sprain.
Thank you, Chris. So Hooper, such a huge part of this rushing attack, is returned to the ball game, and now Northampton County trailing by 2 touchdowns, backed all the way up to a first and forever from their 30-yard line. This is a rushing heavy team. It's going to have to find a way to change their script to come back.
That's the thing, and they caught themselves early in adversity with the fumble on the opening kickoff, the fumbled snap on the punt, and it's become a very treacherous area in this side of the field for the Jaguars.
Nowhere to go for number 2, big power back Samaje Mitchell, and what a stop by Coleman Cable, the senior.
See number 66 right there, right at the bottom of your screen. Cable comes up through the line of scrimmage right there. Does a nice job keeping ankle depth, right? So you don't want to come too far up the field. You get through the line of scrimmage. He takes him down. Samaje Mitchell right in the backfield.
That's the 40th tackle of the year for Coleman Cable. A 2-year starter on this defensive line for defensive coordinator Lucas Ford. Now look at this, Northampton County looking to throw. Let's see if they can come back from a 2nd and 24. High snap over the quarterback. This ball is live, scooped up at the 10-yard line by Zion Kendall. And this is a worst case scenario for Northampton County. A 3rd down, they have to get to the opposite side of the field at the 48-yard line to move the chains.
And Evan, we asked Coach Privet this week, are you in the gun most of the game or are you under center? He said, we're under center most of the game. And when you have to change your game plan in the middle of one, sometimes execution doesn't come through. And right there, he had a bad snap from the center, putting the Jaguars team even in a deeper hole. It's 3rd in Rhode Island right now for Jaguars.
What a slow start for Northampton County. They've won 7 straight to get to this state final. And now in the closing seconds of the first quarter, face a 3rd and 41. Inside handoff. Gets near the 20, but Mitchell well stopped short as that ends the first quarter here in Durham. When we come back, the second quarter from the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
You felt free. It's time to uncover that feeling again with the compassion of a cross and shield, widely accepted by doctors and specialists, and the power of a card that opens doors in all 50 states, giving you the freedom to love, to dream, to dance like no one is watching. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Live fearless.
Northampton County backed against it on a 4th and 33 here in the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Nchsaa is back deep on this punt attempt. Newsom will boot it away this time, and a pretty good kick, all things considered. Takes a Northampton County bounce and dives down at the 43-yard line. A kick of 37 yards, which given the last attempt was a pass, a much better change of field position.
The first time that they're going to have field position that a little more advantageous for the Jaguars playing against. But you know, when you look at all the things that have gone wrong so far for the Jaguars, they had the opening kickoff turnover, they had the bad snap on the punt, they had the poor snap by the center on that second down in this last series to pin them even deeper. So this is something they have to come out of quick.
Northampton County rushing players on the field, and what a stop in the backfield, tripped up at the 40-yard line. That's Javante Scott with a tackle for a loss of 3. A reminder, fans, stay tuned for the Hardee's halftime report. We'll have a special interview with Q Tucker, the commissioner of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. First half highlights and more here from Durham. It's been all Robbinsville so far. 4 drives for the Black Knights, 2 touchdowns, and here on their 4th drive, excellent field position at the 40-yard line. Collins gets the snap, feeds underneath to Hooper, breaks the tackle, Hooper to midfield, and Hooper carrying bodies out to the 49-yard line, a gain of 8, hard-earned rush.
Well, Chris said it before down there, he's not going to be denied, and he sure isn't after that run. Looks like his ankle is okay on running through tackles on that play. As you see here on the replay, right in the middle of your screen, as he bounces back to the far side, lowers his shoulder and gets positive yardage, gets up very happy, aggressive, pumping that fist, throwing that ball back to the ref. Congratulated by his teammates.
And at the end of the play, Samaje Mitchell is down. So in the meantime, as Mitchell gets treated, we go down to Chris Hooks on the sideline. Now looks like Mitchell is back to his feet, which is good news. Samaje Mitchell, the senior, doing it all in the rushing attack at the linebacker position. That's going to be a tough loss if he is out for a significant period of time.
Yeah, good sign there as you see him walking off under his own power to the sideline. Is a big part of Coach Privett's team.
Northampton County has not trailed by 2 touchdowns in a game since October 4th. Fast forward a month and a half later, they have the odds stacked against him early in this second quarter. A 3rd and 2 coming up for Robbinsville. Collins gives it off to Anderson. He cuts right, breaks the tackle. Another down inside the 40. And boy, Anderson and Hooper have been dynamic in the rushing attack, over 60 yards on the ground.
That 1-2 punch, Anderson and Hooper, as you see here on the replay. Riley Anderson taking it to the near side, gets back, turns it back to the middle of the field, but he's breaking tackles. He's so elusive in the open field, and that's the one thing you have to do as a defense. You gotta wrap up these guys. They're such good, powerful runners.
Back in the hands of Anderson. He cuts to his left, and all the way near the sticks goes Anderson, blocked forward by his guard, Grady Garland. Robbinsville's had no trouble running the football.
They've had no trouble, and led by Chris Shope, the center there, anchoring that line of scrimmage, as you see Riley Anderson right there, thanking his offensive lineman. A nice job by Carlos Wesley, too, number 56, the tackle. As you see here, Carlos pulling from near side to far side, getting in the way of defenders and allowing Riley Anderson to get to that far side and pick up some nice yardage again.
Eric Robinson with the tackle, setting up a 2nd and 1. Here we go again to Anderson. A huge hole down across the 25. And Nchsaa bangs in to the hard-earned tailback, Riley Anderson, who last week had 208 yards rushing. He's approaching 50 here in this first half.
Great job again. You see the full, that's the triple option. That's what it does to you. It opens up great holes. And Nchsaa, if he didn't fly in there from the bottom of your screen to make that tackle, I think Anderson's still running. Anderson up to 13 carries in this first half, already 2 touchdowns. Collins back to work under center, gives it to his beast in Anderson, and a shoestring tackle in open space. Javonte Scott, who leads this team with 130 tackles, makes a nice play to slow down Anderson. Yeah, very nice play. I mean, they're picking up big chunks of yardage, though, are the Black Knights getting into Jaguar territory deep inside, and they can sniff that end zone again. It'll be tough row to hoe if they go down by 3 scores here for the Jaguars. 3 minutes into this second quarter, and Northampton County has been backed up defensive on every drive. Anderson, so much room to the 10, cuts to the 5, Anderson to the end zone. 3 touchdowns for Riley Anderson. Robbinsville rolling here in the first half. Oh, they look good. They sure look good right here. Grady Garland, the guard on that play, you'll see it right here. Grady Garland pulling right at the bottom of your screen. You see Riley Anderson, see he has vision, he cuts it up towards the middle of the field, isn't touched until Jonas Bethley hits him at the goal line, but not before Riley Anderson gets over for another 6. Cody Klein in for the extra point. Movement before the snap. Wait for our white hat with the official ruling.
Prior to snap, we have encroachment on the defense.
An option here for Robbinsville if they want to move the football forward.
Penalty is declined.
Yep. Instead, they'll keep with the traditional extra point, a 20-0 lead. Robbinsville offense, they were slow against Thomas Jefferson Classical in the regional final. 2 touchdowns in the 4th quarter to pull ahead. Today, no doubt about it, these Black Knights are ready to go, and a 21-point lead. When we come back, more from Durham here for the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship, presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
The innocence of youth. Is there anything any better? But soon they'll be in high school and facing all the same challenges you faced. How to make friends, how to fit in, how to be cool. We want our children to have everything they'll need to live fulfilling and productive lives. Make sure the kids in your family are among the more than 200,000 participants here in North Carolina who take part in high school sports.
Robbinsville rolling here with the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. It's been the Riley Anderson show. 3 rushing touchdowns and 97 yards on the ground for the senior tailback. And now Robbinsville to boot of the way with a 3-touchdown lead. Just what D. Walsh and company wanted heading into this title game.
This is what they prepared for. And practice wasn't great this week. We talked to Coach before the game.
This ball is live, touched by Robbinsville, and recovered by the Black Knights. Scooping it up is number 2, Landon Hall, the senior. A second pooch kick recovery. Robbinsville's even winning the special teams today.
Right out of the gates, you see the pooch kick right here. Wow, and just not executing, almost confused as to what do we do. You can fair catch that no matter where you are in the field. You raise your hand and make sure you fair catch. We have a penalty on the ground there, though.
Captain's ball.
So how about that? The ruling is that Robbinsville touched the football before it went 10 yards. So instead of a recovery, Northampton County is going to get excellent field position. It was tough to tell on the first look, but here's a clean angle.
You see right here is the ball's up in the air and no one wants to go around it. And then you see that's going to be the penalty, though. They didn't allow, that's the penalty. that you're seeing there as Clayson Lane jumps in the air while it was supposed to be, looked like it was going to be caught by the Jaguars.
The only question I would have there, I didn't see a fair catch signal, so I'm a little surprised by that flag.
I didn't either. Yep.
Well, you learn something new every day, and right now it's Robbinsville up 21-0. Northampton County looking to throw the football down 3 touchdowns. Instead, it's a sweep handoff outside to Eric Robinson. He is leveled to the ground. What a stop by this defense. It's Riley Anderson in on the tackle. We'll go down to Chris Hooks quickly with more.
Well, guys, on that play, there was a fair catch signal, but the ruling was in that situation, they A, have to give him a chance to catch it, and B, you have to let it touch the ground in that situation as well. So there was a couple of other things going on. But one thing, Peter, I want to ask you, it really seems like Robbinsville is just absolutely dominating Northampton County up front to the point where players for Northampton County are colliding into their own linemen. What do you see up there?
No question, Chris. You see here, it's nice job by the defense here for a small game, but you're right, you're absolutely correct. Up front, Robbinsville is owning the line of scrimmage. They're getting good push, they're staying low, and they're opening up wide holes. And then you have running backs that are evading tacklers. So you have some Jaguars that are in holes that you just have the running backs, Riley Anderson, Lex Hooper, running out of the grasp of the Jaguar defenders.
Samaje Mitchell with that last carry, setting up a 3rd and 8. The first positive yards of this quarter and of this half for Northampton County. It's been a tough go of it so far today. 3rd and 8, play action. Kendall looking to run, gets past one defender. Kendall to the 35, right against the sticks, and he's slammed out of bounds by Candler Edwards. A 4th and short coming up for Northampton County.
Great effort there by Zion Kendall getting to the far side, but I'll tell you what, Candler Edwards as an interior defensive lineman to make a tackle over to the far side boundary on a quarterback who's pretty darn fast, that's great effort. You won't see him on the screen. You see him right there in the middle of the field, and he runs parallel to the line of scrimmage and makes the tackle right there at the far side boundary. Unbelievable effort by Candler Edwards.
Northampton County 0 for 2 on 4th down today. Nchsaa bobbled the handoff, looking to stretch it outside, and is tripped up. Riley Anderson is doing everything in this first half.
I don't know if every single person is wearing number 22 on the defense for, my goodness, that's something for the Black Knights, because I tell you what, he is all over the football field, running the ball, doing a great job as an edge defender. As you see the handoff there, bobbled a little bit by Nchsaa, but you look at there, just falling down at the bottom of your screen was Riley Anderson, and as he's falling down, he sticks his right arm out and trips up Nchsaa.
Riley Anderson, not only 90-plus tackles, he has 3 touchdowns today, and a little play action for Nathan Collins. Collins looking to throw, has a man, and dropped, trying to target number 15, Clayson Lane, the first pass attempt for Robbinsville today.
And that was nice misdirection there. You played with the eye discipline of the defense for the Jaguars. Looked like it was going to be a handoff, but that play action froze the backers, and Clayson Lane got behind the linebackers on that play as he's gaining depth, running near side to far side. Collins saw him, just wasn't able to hook up.
Collins last week, 49 yards passing. It's been the rushing attack telling the story in this first half for Robbinsville. Over 100 yards on the ground. Quarterback design run to his left, and he is knocked down hard at the 40-yard line. Good tackle by Javante Scott, setting up a 3rd and 7 here for Robbinsville.
You see the 6', 200-pound junior Javante Scott right there in the middle of your screen. Wow, upending Nathan Collins. Good job by the linebacker breaking down in the hole, keeping his head up, not allowing Nathan Collins to juke him with the shoulders and bringing him down for a short gain.
Javante Scott, he wasn't even a starter last year. Midway through the season, the coaching staff said, let's give this kid a try. He's led the team in tackles the last 2 years. 3rd and 6 officially. Collins looks to throw. Pressure coming. Breaks one tackle. Spins out of another. Collins now at the original line of scrimmage, and he is dropped. Good rallying of the defense. Nchsaa in to make the stop. And Fauntleroy there to help as well. It's a 4th down here for Robbinsville. What do they do?
The elusiveness of Nathan Collins here, as you see on the replay. Nothing to throw. Good zone defense. But look at the elusiveness. Wasn't able to be brought down there in the backfield by Chad Brody. Fourth down, they're going for it, Evan. No, I'm sorry, they're punting.
Smart decision, up 3 touchdowns as Seth Lawson to boot this away. Lawson from his 30, turns the kick, catch made inside the 30. Breaking a tackle goes Robinson. He's running for the sideline. Robinson has a block, jumps over a would-be tackler, and he's tripped up by guess who? Mr. Anderson again to save a touchdown. Ball at midfield here for Northampton. When we come back, more from the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
Maxwell looking deep.
Northampton County back with the football, trailing by 3 touchdowns. And now some play action for the Jaguars. Kendall with plenty of time, chucks it down the field. Kendall searching for an option, and it's almost intercepted. But a flag back at the line of scrimmage. This might be coming back as Seth Lawson almost had the pick.
I think you're right. I'm just call it a holding. They're going to take him back on second down there, another 10 yards. But a nice job by the defense of the Black Knights.
Holding Northampton, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Repeat second down.
Boy, Evan, I was going to say before, that was a small victory that they had the Black Knights turn the ball over through a punt, but you see right here, Zion Kendall looking down the field, but no one is open. You can see he's towards the middle of the field, and he throws off his back foot into coverage there.
Kendall last week only attempted 1 pass. It was incomplete, and on the season just 3 of 20 passing. This offense methodical on the ground, not as explosive in the air. How about this now? Northampton County going to change things up and bring in their freshman quarterback, Kwame Pitt. Pitt, he's the thrower, launches it downfield, and searching for the deep target in Jaquan Davis. Now it's 3rd and 28.
Well, on that throw, on that route, Jaquan Davis kind of sat down and squatted down, didn't run the go route, as it looked like Kwame Pitt had the thought that the go route was going to be at the jump, running full speed down the field. And for some reason, Jaquan Davis kind of sat down and slowed down his route a little bit, like almost he was going to break it off
Have an
in the middle of the field.
Receiver downfield. That penalty is declined. It'll be 3rd down.
Northampton County must get to the 40-yard line of Robbinsville, cross midfield. They're leaning on their freshman quarterback, Kwame Pitt, who has 4 touchdown passes this year and a lot of work to do on 3rd and forever. But first, a timeout is called by Northampton County.
Timeout, Northampton.
So, Peter, if you're Northampton County here, you're down 3 touchdowns. You've amassed just 1 first down in the entire half. It's going to be tough to get this first down, but what must they do to settle things down in this football game?
I think they just get back to what they're used to. I mean, obviously, they've run into a buzzsaw early on here against the Black Knights of Robbinsville. But, Evan, I just think they need to come back. They've experienced adversity all year long with injuries and things like that. They were 4-3 to start the year. But as you look at Coach Privet talking to his team here, and all of them talking about what's the next thing we're going to do, they just need to get back to the game of football and forget about what the score is. I mean, again, they have 4,400 yards on the ground. There's a reason for that. You're not going to stop them the entire game. They're going to get their yards. Unfortunately, some things have happened, the stories that have developed in this game where they haven't been really secure with the football. That obviously that open kickoff there started things off, but just come back and use what you've done to get to this point in the season.
Keep an eye out later today for our Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina play of the game. Be bold, be confident, live fearless, and that'll come up later in this broadcast. I'd have to guess that Mr. Anderson's going to be involved in that today. Riley Anderson with 3 touchdowns, and Robbinsville a 21-point lead. Kwame Pitt back in at quarterback, the freshman for his second snap. Pitt, little pump fake, goes across the field. A jump ball near the sticks, and it's incomplete. Searching for his quarterback in Zion Kendall. No flags on the play. Actually, there's one on the near side here at the line of scrimmage. A late flag coming in.
Could possibly be illegal formation. Or illegal shift.
We have illegal procedure on Northampton. Penalty will be declined. Bring up 4th down.
Yep. That's the 3rd penalty now for Northampton in this game, over 20 yards of penalties. And that'll force in the punting unit, which has been an adventure today for Northampton County. A team that has won 7 straight games, that has not trailed by 3 touchdowns since October 4th. They exacted revenge in that game, losing to North Edgecombe, then winning the next matchup just last week to get to the state final.
And is this a time where Coach Privet calls for a fake punt? You know, desperate times call for desperate measures. There's a lot of room there if you can get past the line of scrimmage.
Well, Nchsaa has a lot of decisions here. Another timeout by Northampton County. As the Jaguars are backed against it, they use their final timeout of this first half on 4th and 28. We know the punting unit has not been relied upon a bunch. Just 8 punts coming into this game. We've seen some variety from George Privet trying to work his special teams. But on 4th and 28, you have to find a way to get this ball out of your end.
You have to, and you at least want to give Robbinsville a longer field with 4 minutes left here in the half. But, you know, remember the coin toss. The momentum shifted at that point because right in that, and obviously Northampton accepted, they won the toss, they wanted the ball and then fumbled it. So the first possession was Robbinsville's. Coming out of halftime, because of that coin toss, the first possession will be Robbinsville's. Everything is going Robbinsville's way so far this half, Evan.
One of the changing points of the season for Northampton County, head coach George Privet there, he went to Hertford County High School. His team in Northampton lost a disappointing road game at Hertford County. He said that game really settled his team in. They locked him in focus-wise. Can this team now find that reboot button here in the state championship game, now 21-0? That is the question now, as Nchsaa is back again at his 20-yard line. Lawson at his own 35 awaits the punt. This is a good one from Nchsaa. Room to return. Moving up the field goes Seth Lawson across midfield and down to the 44-yard line. Seth Lawson with excellent field position for this Robbinsville Black Knights offense.
And another low snap there that the punter had trouble picking up, but got a good punt off, but then didn't get enough of the punt team to get down there to make a tackle. And a nice job by the punt return team of the Black Knights. As you see, that punt was dropped. And getting up the field, going from far side to near side, is Seth Lawson getting up the field again in Jaguar territory.
Nathan Collins in this offense back to work. You guessed it, Riley Anderson on the handoff. And he's tripped up at the line of scrimmage. Good tackle by Javante Scott in open space. No gain on the play.
And maybe that's one thing you have to start doing now with the linebackers for the Jaguars. Just start running through the gaps on the backside and chasing these running backs down. You see Jameek Reed, I mean, he does a good job trailing that play from behind with a great pursuit angle. Maybe get these backers running in space to make tackles before they can pick up those big gains.
30th tackle of the year for Jameek Reed on this defensive line. Now it's Hooper right up the middle. Hooper cuts outside at the hash. Hooper breaks a tackle. He's loose inside the 25. And Hooper, an impressive run all the way to the 21-yard line and a gain of 25.
There's the 1-2 punch, the dynamic duo of Robbinsville. There's the second part of it, Lex Hooper. And you see him in the backfield here, coming back to the near side, following his blockers, and then just taking over on his own. His athleticism, running through people, over people, around people, and getting the ball, again, deep into Jaguar territory.
First and 10 from the 21. Hooper moving to his right, and a solid gain of 5 as we go down to Chris Hooks with more.
Evan, you see Lex Hooper, you see Riley Anderson, and how hard they run and how hard they play. Coach Walsh talked about how strong they are. Both of those guys squat over 400 pounds, deadlift around 500 pounds, and you're seeing it out there. Those guys really are strong individuals.
And Chris, Lex Hooper's a bit banged up today. You mentioned he didn't want to come out of this football game, and for good reason why. Trying to keep up with his running mate and Riley Anderson. It's Anderson this time moving left, and he's chopped down after a gain of 1, setting up a 3rd and short. The tackle there by Scott, the middle linebacker.
And this offensive line that both Hooper and Anderson are running behind are doing a great job of getting off the ball, staying low, using their leverage, and just they're so technically sound. They're not overly big. They average 228 across the line of scrimmage, but they're such good technicians at their position.
3rd and 3 for Robbinsville. Play action. Collins trying to escape, and he is slammed down back near the 20. What a sack combined there. Getting started by big number 52 on this defense for Northampton County. That's Ziel Felix.
You see number 14 for the Jaguars, Jonas Bethley, coming in from the bottom of your screen, was held up a little bit there, but he forced Nathan Collins to step up in the pocket where the rest of the Jaguars could take him down. Tevin Vincent there as well. But a nice job on the outside by Jonas Bethley and messing that play up and forcing Collins to step up.
Ziel Felix trying to help his defense stay in this ball game. The junior picked up his first sack of the season on that play. And now Robbinsville uses its first timeout with 1.5 minutes to go in this first half. We've seen Robbinsville live on the ground. 25 carries for 139 yards. Only 3 pass attempts. I'll be curious here on 4th and 6 what head coach D. Walsh has drawn up.
You see it from the overhead camera. Good angle here. You see the top of your screen, 14. Bethley stepping in, and then the rest of the Jaguars take over, led by Tevin Vincent in the middle for the Jaguars D.
Northampton County is a defense. They only have 10 sacks on the year. They live on the interception. 16 picks, 22 fumbles. They would love a big play like this, trailing by 3 touchdowns late in this first half.
They're running a spread here. If you're the defensive line for the Jaguars, they're running in that shotgun spread. If he drops back to pass, get your hand in passing lanes, get your arms up.
Collins to throw on 4th down. He goes for the end zone, and it's knocked down. A stop for this Northampton County defense.
Huge.
And they'll get the ball back at the 17-yard line.
Minute 27 left, and the big part about it is you don't want to go into halftime down by 4 scores. That 3rd down blitz by Jonas Bethley in the previous play was a huge play for this defense. Little momentum maybe. You see Collins stepping up, throwing down a great tip there by Javonte Scott, reading the eyes of the quarterback deep in the middle of the field and getting your hands and your arms up in passing lanes. Nice job.
Scott had 9 tackles last week to lead his defense, and a big stop there as he sees himself on the video board here at Wallace Wade Stadium. The perks of playing for a state title. All eyes on Northampton County and Robbinsville here in the 1A championship. So Kwame Pitt, the freshman, back in at quarterback, and we have a delay of game here before the snap.
Prior to snap, have delay a game.
You do not see that too often, especially after a turnover.
After a possession change, sure. Yeah, you rarely ever see that. That's just lack of focus, lack of concentration, and something that would frustrate a head coach from here to eternity.
4th penalty for Northampton County in this first half. George Privet trying to find some offense here late in the first. Pitt throws it outside, back to his quarterback. Now Kendall gets the original yardage back, and he gains 6. 2nd and long coming up for Northampton. A reminder, coming up next, we have the Hardee's halftime report. Special interview with Q Tucker, the commissioner of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association. First half highlights and more here from Durham. It's been the rushing attack of Robbinsville, telling the story. Clock under a minute and no timeouts for Northampton County. They might be content with running out the clock here to end this second quarter. Pitt, little play action. Pitt as he throws, and the ball is loose. Scooped up and intercepted. Robbinsville again on defense. This is Candler Edwards with the interception.
What a great play. Just a blitz from the outside. Wasn't even a blitz. Great move by number 88, Rosie Wachacha. Great swim move on the outside, forcing that errant throw, if you will. And then Candler Edwards there to gobble it up, pointing towards the end, pointing towards the other side. First down, Robbinsville. Evan, we were talking about it. It's almost a gift that they could go into halftime only down 3 scores, and now they're up against it here with 44 seconds left.
Candler Edwards with the interception. He's also the right guard on this rushing attack that has picked up 140 yards on the ground. Misdirection hand off to Hooper, and he'll gain 2. 40 seconds left, and Robbinsville has timeouts to work with. They'll use one here with 38 seconds left in the half.
And their kicker, Cody Klein, is 3 of 5 field goals coming into today's game. He has hit a 36-yarder, and they're definitely within his range for a field goal, but that's what Coach D. Walsh is thinking about now on the sideline for Robbinsville. If this ball doesn't go in the end zone, if they do force a 4th down, if the Jaguars force a 4th down, is this something I put onto the leg of my kicker, Cody Klein?
2 timeouts to work with for Robbinsville, so plenty of options. And if you're Northampton County, it's going to be tough to stop this rushing attack for Robbinsville. They've averaged 5.5 yards a carry. That gain of 1 was just their shortest carry of the day. And Peter, we have 38 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, it's been quite the day as you see this Robbinsville team huddled around their coach, and now they get their duties for this play, and they all hustle back out to the football. They just a different body language right now on the sideline and on the field for the Black Knights versus the Jaguars, for sure.
Robbinsville was the first team on the field to warm up today, and they seem red hot from the start here in this first half. Collins looks to throw, turns to his right, steps up against pressure. Collins lobs down the sideline and bounces it to his open target. Riley Anderson would have been his 4th touchdown. Instead, it's a 3rd and 9 coming up.
And the Jaguars there do a nice job of dropping into zone coverage. Clayson Lane was dragging across the middle of the field to the middle of the end zone, but good job by the Jaguars to take away any passing lane.
Robbinsville, they average 40 points per game as a club and knocking on the door to a possible 4th touchdown here in the half. Blitz coming. Collins picks it up, runs to his right, now throws across the middle and out of the hands of his intended target, Clayson Lane. A decision coming up here on 4th and 9. And there's a man down for Northampton County defensively. That's Jalen Jacobs. Big number 51 down to the turf. We hope he's all right. And right before that injury, the kicking team was heading out for Robbinsville. We'll see if that changes following the injury timeout with 27 seconds left in this first half. Jacobs is helped up and now on his own power gets to the sideline. Maybe a little stinger in the arm there for the junior defensive lineman.
Cody Klein ready to go again. 3 of 5 this year so far in field goal attempts.
Cody Klein's made his last 3 kicks, and now he squares up for a 30-yard field goal with 30 seconds left in the half. Good snap, and a whistle blows before the kick. A flag at the line of scrimmage.
Prior to the snap, have encroachment on the defense. 5-yard penalty, still 4th down.
So it's a 4th and 4 now if you're Robbinsville. The field goal unit remains on the field here for D. Walsh's club. By the way, if you missed it, Klein did make that field goal from 30 yards, so now it becomes a bit easier. Cody Klein, just a sophomore and stepping up, trying to add an extra 3 points late in this half with a 25-yard attempt. His holder, Lawson, gets it down, and the kick is good. A 24-0 start for Robbinsville, taking advantage of the interception, and they add a crucial 3 points, getting the football back as well in half number 2.
Crucial. We said before that it would have been almost a gift for Northampton County to go into halftime only down by 3 scores, giving themselves a shot coming out of halftime. Sure, a little bit of a mini victory there, only forcing a field goal try. They got the 3 points, but it could have been much, much worse. But Evan, the Jaguars have to go into halftime here, and they have to figure out something. Maybe not only scheme-wise, but upstairs too, just from an attitude perspective, from an execution and discipline perspective. They really need to find themselves during this halftime break.
Robbinsville wants to continue putting pressure on the gas pedal here late in this second quarter. They've recovered 2 muffed kicks today.
Yeah.
A couple of pooch kicks that have resulted in great field position for Robbinsville. So even this kickoff here from Cody Klein is so crucial. You got to keep an eye on this, folks, and make sure to see where the ball goes. Very first play of the game, they got a pooch kick recovery. And now the final kick of this half from Klein is on the way. A fair catch is called. There's your adjustment, and Tevin Vincent, the tight end, makes the catch. That's what should have happened early in this game, at least from our perspective.
First time, get your hair in the, especially where your hand in the air, where they were at the 30-yard line. The shadows were, that's where the shadows meet the sun. So you never know what he could have been looking at.
Northampton County now at the 40-yard line. This is their best field position of the day, giving you a scope of how things have happened for the Jaguars, who have gained just 1 yard in this first half.
Man, that's a heck of a job by Robbinsville on the defensive side of the ball.
Remember, no timeouts for Northampton County as well. The last time they tried to get creative late in their own end of the field, it was an interception, resulting in 3 points here recently for Robbinsville. The quarterback, Zion Kendall, back under center. Tosses it out. Now looking to throw is Nchsaa. His pass is up in the air and through the hands of his intended target, Jaquan Davis. Kendall is down. Nchsaa is down after the throw as he just missed his big receiver, the 6'4" senior. Nchsaa took a tough shot on that throw. What do you think of the creativity there of George Privet going with a little misdirection and a flea flicker pass?
You felt like something was coming the way they were lined up. They had a wing and a fullback behind the wing, and then they go for that toss pass to the far side. And the receiver, the intended receiver, came off the line of scrimmage going right down the field. You see him pulled up right there, but then, man, taking him to the ground there, Candler Edwards throws right into coverage, high pass, but I'll tell you what, it was a good job by attacking the ball at its highest point, Jaquan Davis as the intended receiver. But Jaquan came off the line of scrimmage, ran that go route from the jump. So that was obviously a play that they have drawn up, and it wasn't an option route at all for Nchsaa.
Nchsaa over 1,300 yards on the ground this year, a key player in this offense for Northampton County, making their first ever state title game. Now backs against the wall here, down 24-0 late in the second quarter. And Zion Kendall back to work under center. Kendall loses the football, now tosses it back to Davis, breaks a tackle, Davis to the 40, shimmies to the outside. And this Robbinsville defense all over it, first stopped by Cameron McGuire. That results in a gain of 2 yards.
Yeah, I tell you what, and you see number 20 walking back to the huddle there. Lex Hooper out there as well. The one thing that I have noticed about this Robbinsville defense is they are so good at breaking down in space.
A 10-yard penalty, repeat second down.
Another penalty here for Northampton County will back this drive up with 3 seconds left. That'll certainly end our first half, but what has Robbinsville done to jump out in front and be so dominant here in half number?
Well, I see on the defensive side of the ball, as I was saying, Evan, before, that the linebackers do such a good job of getting to the football, read and react, but they break down in the hole and they don't let the athletes of the Jaguars kind of shimmy and shoulder shake and get out. They do such a good job of breaking down and making tackles.
Robbinsville up 24-0, searching for a 14th state title. They have been dominant here in half number 1. When we come back, the Hardee's halftime report. But first, to recap and to talk about an impressive first half performance, we have Chris Hooks down with Coach D. Walsh. Chris?
Coach, if there was a script to write this first half, I would say you guys are following it to the T. I guess if there was one thing that did go wrong for you, that's not scoring a touchdown there. Just talk about your team's performance.
Hey, they're awesome. We've been focused to finish. We've not tried to celebrate yet. We want to try to finish this game, and that was our mission when we started this season, to try to bring a state championship home to our community, and that's what we're going to try everything we can to do.
Well, you're halfway there. Talk about Lex Hooper and Riley Anderson. Just those two in that first half just seem to be everywhere.
They're awesome kids. They work hard. They play with a lot of heart. And them people up front, our offensive linemen, they're awesome. You know, they're not big and they're not that strong, but they play with a lot of heart, and they give them boys a lot of holes to run in. And then when they get holes, they're dangerous out in the field.
So what's your message in the locker room?
We're just going to finish right now. We're going to go in there and talk about that. We're going to play like we're behind and play this second half as hard as we can and try to finish the deal.
Coach, good luck second half.
Thank you, sir.
Back to you guys.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you, Coach. When we come back, the Hardee's halftime report. It's been all Robbinsville from the start, up 24-0 here on the 1A State Championship broadcast, presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Welcome back to the Hardee's halftime report here in Durham. Now time to check in with the commissioner of the North Carolina High School Athletic Association, Miss Q Tucker.
I'm here with the North Carolina High School Athletic Association Commissioner Q Tucker. Now, realignment is coming up in 2021. What is that process looking like?
Well, we have already met with our realignment committee. That committee was put together in October. We used the names that were recommended by the membership, and then our board of directors went in and gave some recommendations to our president and vice president, and they ultimately put that committee together. Then the committee came in November 14th and just started to lay some groundwork. We started looking at some data, looking at what some possible ways that we can impact realignment process. Should we just look at ADM numbers, which are the enrollment numbers? Mm-hmm. Should we be looking at things like the economic factors? Should we take into account free and reduced lunches? What else should we look at? Maybe we need to be looking at the playoffs. Obviously, you don't want the playoffs to drive realignment, but obviously that really is important to the membership. So we essentially entertained an amendment request that came from one of the member schools to deal with classification, because if we're going to change from 4 classes, we obviously would need the membership to vote on it. So that's really where we are right now.
Busy time as we have the state championships here. We're always looking to promote a positive game day atmosphere. I know the association has revamped the sportsmanship initiative. What changes have you made in order to help achieve a positive atmosphere?
We started several years ago, sportsmanship together, we make the right call. And it still involves all of us together. It involves the players, it involves the coaches, it involves the officials, the administrators, and parents in particular. Mm-hmm. And so we still have that as really the umbrella, but then we wanted to take a look at respecting the game. Because ultimately, when you play games, it's just for a moment, really. It's that moment in time when you play, but you need to have respect for your opponents, respect for the people who are working the game, but then to look beyond that, you know, life is a game, and we all are playing that game, and so that if we can focus in on that to some extent, then maybe we have a better shot at trying to emphasize sportsmanship and get everybody to really buy in.
It might help the nationwide decline in officiating if there's a positive atmosphere on the game field. What have you seen the effects of the decline in officiating here in North Carolina athletics?
Well, obviously when you have a decline in the numbers of officials who are participating in your program, then it means there are those times when maybe teams are looking for officials, they can't get them to a contest. Our regional supervisors are out beating the bushes. So decline in wanting to even officiate then impacts your numbers. When we look at the average age of our officials across the state of North Carolina, we're at 60 years of age. And so we need younger people wanting to get involved in the program. One thing that could help is if people would respect officiating. If people would, we talk about respecting the game, but if they would respect the fact that these men and women take classes, they take a test, they study, they practice, and just respect that they make a sacrifice and they commit to officiating. Obviously and unfortunately, it is a nationwide problem, and so my colleagues across the country, we're all addressing it. We're trying to do some more recruiting. We need our young people in the high school ranks, particularly seniors, to recognize that officiating may be something that they want to do once they graduate. So if we can get some there, we do some things with our college programs, trying to, again, drive home the point that there is a place for you to officiate in high school athletics. So we're doing what we can, but we're always open to suggestions and any ideas that the general public might have.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thank you very much for having me.
When we come back, more from the Hardee's halftime report. Welcome back to the Hardee's halftime report here in Durham. For our final segment, Kenny Chesney joins us for a quick segment on why football matters in high school athletics.
I keep going back to connection and this bond that's formed and how impressionable a young person can be when they put on a pair of shoulder pads and a helmet and they see their buddies in that helmet and shoulder pads. It's something really, really awesome to feel, and to smell the grass and to get hit or to hit someone or whatever. It's this feeling that that never leaves you. But I think for me, the thing about football, why it's so important, is that it just instills this work ethic that I wouldn't have had without it. For me and all my friends in the area that we grew up in and the team we played on, we had to work for everything we got. Nothing is given to you, and if you want something, you got to go take it.
Highlights and stats coming up after this quick break on the Hardee's halftime report.
Maxwell looking deep.
When was the last time you felt free? It's time to uncover that feeling again with the compassion of a cross and shield, widely accepted by doctors and specialists, and the power of a card that opens doors in all 50 states, giving you the freedom to love, to dream, to dance like no one is watching. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Live fearless.
Welcome back to Wallace Wade Stadium as we get set for the second half. Chris Hooks here with the head coach of Northampton County, George Privet. Coach, that first half, I don't think if there was Murphy's Law involved, anything that could have gone wrong did. What did you tell your team in the locker room?
Just basically told them, come on, let's wake up and play. It's more than just the big lights and the big stage. I think some of them clowned up a little bit, so we made some adjustments, so hopefully that'll get them going in the second half.
What is it about Robbinsville at this point that's really been able to slow you guys down on that side of the football as far as offense?
Just as far as offense, they're hitting some gaps and disrupting us right now. I think we can come out and make some reads and get back to running and doing what we're doing and try to make some adjustments and get in the end zone.
All right, Coach, best of luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, Evan, back to you and Peter.
That's some good perspective from head coach George Privet as he looks to lead his team. Oh.
Sorry, Tolly. I thought you were
perfect.
Okay.
second half.
Chris Hooks caught up with Northampton County head coach George Privet.
Welcome back to Wallace Wade Stadium as we get set for the second half. Chris Hooks here with the head coach of Northampton County, George Privet. Coach, that first half, I don't think if there was Murphy's Law involved, anything that could have gone wrong did. What did you tell your team in the locker room?
Just basically told them, come on, let's wake up and play. It's more than just the big lights and the big stage. I think some of them clowned up a little bit, so we made some adjustments, so hopefully that'll get them going in the second half.
What is it about Robbinsville at this point that's really been able to slow you guys down on that side of the football as far as offense?
Just as far as offense, they're hitting some gaps and disrupting us right now. I think we can come out and make some reads and get back to running and doing what we're doing and try to make some adjustments and get in the end zone.
All right, Coach, best of luck in the second half.
Thank you.
All right, Evan.
Here are some first half stats in the Hardee's halftime report. Northampton County, they averaged 35 points per game. They've yet to score, and the rushing attack just hasn't been there in the first half.
It's unbelievable. I mean, the talent that the Jaguars have, for them to only have 3 total yards in a state championship game is unbelievable. That's a testament to the defense and the studying that the Black Knights did all week long on this vaunted Jaguars offense for sure.
To make matters worse, Robbinsville's going to get the football first to open up this half, and now George Privet, his team on a 7-game win streak to reach this state championship final. They have their work cut out for them. The healthiest they've been all season, but now playing from behind to open up half number 2.
And what Chris said, talking to Coach Privet coming out of halftime there, was what is like Murphy's Law. Everything that went wrong, could have gone wrong, went wrong for them with the turnover right away in the opening kickoff.
Before the onside kick, we have a flag. It looks like another penalty on Northampton County that negates a possible opportunity.
Prior to the kick, have encroachment on the kicking team, 5-yard penalty, replay to kick.
Peter, the penalties are starting to add up now. That's 6 for 50 yards if you're Northampton County, and some uncharacteristic special teams mistakes really holding them back today.
Well, if you're a team, the past 7 weeks, you can't win 7 games in a row if you have those types of things. And today, one of the unfortunate things is you come in and your mental discipline is really attacked. And, can they come out of it early here in the second half? They're going to have to make this a competitive game.
Nchsaa with a second chance. Let's see if he tries the same onside kick attempt here to open up half number 2. And away we go. The second half has begun. And another penalty on Northampton County. Out in front of the kicker here at Nchsaa.
Wow.
Prior to kick, we have encroachment on the kicking team.
The old saying, fool me once, shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me, certainly seems to encapsulate the start of this half.
It really has, and I don't know if I've ever seen that before. And in all fairness to the Jaguars, they're just ready to get going. They want to play football. They want to get down the field, but you also have to play within yourself and not in this situation here, the kickoff. I mean, twice now you're backed up to your own 30. You're going to give Robbinsville tremendous field position.
Take a note of that switch. This is Kwame Pitt in to kick the ball off. Kwame is typically the punter on this team as a freshman. And this time he sends it long. Risky business. This ball is loose and recovered. Oh, it looks like Robbinsville got back on top of it at the last second. Guess who it is again, Peter? It's Riley Anderson saving the day on the squib kick.
Oh boy, that could have been disastrous there. Anderson, he's all over the place. Special teams, offense, defense. He was very, very alert on that play. That could have been disastrous for Robbinsville opening up this second half. Ball bouncing around there, kicked around. Looks like it could have been recovered there by Shycliffe Cargill for the Jaguars, but too many Black Knights around the football.
And on first down, right back to the running game. Anderson scoops up 5 yards, and the tackle there by Jeremiah Johnson, the junior. Northampton County has not played poorly on defense, but the field position battle has been all Robbinsville from the start.
That is what has hurt them. That has been the #1 highlight of this game, is the field position start by the Black Knights.
2nd and 6. Collins gives it left. Huge hole, past the chains and down to the 45 goes Riley Anderson. He's now over 100 yards rushing, and this Robbinsville offense is rolling to start half number 2.
And you see right there just a microcosm of what Coach D. Walsh for Robbinsville talked about with Chris going into halftime. He really talked about the offensive line, how great of a job they've done. And again, coming in, they're pulling left and right. A lot of misdirection on this offense.
Collins gives it to Hooper. Huge hole from his offensive line. Hooper across the 35 and a gain of 12. Lex Hooper now over 50 yards, and that 1-2 punch, they have come together in unison today.
Yeah, they sure have, Evan. They sure have. And again, run to the right side, just putting this Jaguar defense on their heels all game long. The running backs for Robbinsville aren't touched until the second level.
1st and 10 from the 33. Huge hole for Hooper. An easy 10 yards, if not more. And another first down for Robbinsville. The line judge will wait to officially mark it, but very close to the sticks. And that is enough for a first down. So here comes Lex Hooper and Riley Anderson churning out yards. The two tailbacks combined for over 3,500 yards this season. Now it's Anderson. Cuts back to the middle of the field. Anderson dragging defenders inside the 10. And Riley Anderson finally tripped up at the 9-yard line after a gain of 14.
You'll see the replay right here in the middle of your screen. Just watch the entire offensive line. They don't turn around and look at what my running back is doing. They turn up the field and keep blocking until the whistle, which is the key sign of a great offensive lineman.
Robbinsville with a 1st and goal, trying to punch it in. Anderson is dragged to the line of scrimmage and pushed back. Good tackle started off by Zael Felix. And Northampton County a critical stop, because if they give up points here, Peter, this game might be out of reach early in this third quarter.
Really, before they even get the ball here in the second half, it really could be. Javante Scott, you see him right there in the middle of your screen, number 23, the junior linebacker. He really has played a pretty good game today. He's just not able to attack these running backs until they're 5 yards down the field.
There's a good stop. Scott jumps in late to help with the tackle as Chad Brody, the first to make the tackle. Brody had the game-winning interception last week to help Northampton County get to this title game. They're going to need a stop just like that here on 3rd and goal.
Yeah, and again, this defense, 16 interceptions coming in today's game, just shows the aggressive attitude and the ball-hawking defense that they are.
By the way, Javante Scott helped assist on his 10th tackle, and we're early in the third quarter. Collins gives it middle of the field. Hooper inside the 5. He falls to the floor as the ball came out, but marked down to the 2-yard line. A 4th and goal from the 2, and D. Walsh, no hesitation to bring in his tailback Anderson and go for it here on 4th and goal.
Yeah, and Ty Harrell, the fullback that's running in front of Lex Hooper and Riley Anderson, creating lanes. You know, they've talked about great running backs always have a great fullback, and you see one here today with Harrell.
Opening drive of the second half for Robbinsville. Collins gives it to Anderson, and a 4th rushing touchdown for Riley Anderson. Robbinsville can't be stopped here in the 1A title game.
They can't be. Right off the left side, coming right into your living room, and there is Riley Anderson again into the end zone, untouched again going into the end zone. Good job by the offensive line up front, and again, number 32, Ty Harrell, that fullback, leading the way for Anderson's 4th touchdown.
Anderson over 125 yards. Klein connects on the extra point, and Robbinsville up 31-0. When we come back, more from the North Carolina Athletic Association 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
All right, did you know I was the Mommy Slam Dunk Champion?
Really?
Yes, really, don't sound so surprised.
Let's see it.
Oh, you're ready. All right, here we go. Let's hear the crowd. So go to right, go to left, fake 'em out. Mama, go up, mama!
She did it.
Again?
You can't avoid gravity, but United Healthcare can help you avoid financial surprises by helping you compare costs and doctor quality ratings. United Healthcare.
Uh-huh.
Fence Company. Trident Conclusion.
Welcome back to the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield North Carolina. Let's dig back to our Ingalls food for thought. We talked about the 1-2 punch of Anderson and Hooper. They've combined for 4 touchdowns and almost 200 yards rushing.
Amazing. Yeah, they've done a great job back there, the 1-2 punch. But you look at Northampton County and they say win the turnover war, and they sure haven't won the turnover war. It started right in the opening kickoff.
Klein, a pooch kick. And a nice start field position-wise on the fair catch from Javante Scott. 2 turnovers for Northampton County today. And now this offense that has negative 9 yards rushing so far in this ball game, right back to work for their first drive of the second half. A lot of questions to be asked of George Privet going into halftime, and Chris Hook's got some good explanations from the head coach. What must the Jaguars do here to get some points on the board?
You know, it's tough coming into today's game having only 87 yards throwing. Evan, they've got to run the football, and they have to use the athletes that allow them to get 4,400 yards on the ground coming in.
And even before the first snap, a timeout is called. Zion Kendall forced to use his first of 3 timeouts.
Wow.
The wheels are starting to come off here for Northampton County, their first ever state title game. This was a team when the county was split into 2 schools, as Chris mentioned, coming in. They were Northampton West. They made the title game in 2005. Coach Privet, he worked at Northampton East at the time, and he mentioned how this county has now come together in this championship run.
He said this was big for the county, and you see a lot of folks have come out from the county today to watch their team. They rallied behind this team when they were at 4-3, and what do we do now? Well, they ran off 7 straight victories, and they had a lot of momentum, a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of solid play coming into this game. And it feels like, Evan, that first kickoff that they fumbled back to Robbinsville, they were almost shell-shocked just by that one play, and then they go up, Robbinsville goes up 7-0 after that, and they have not recovered.
Chris Hooks has more on Northampton.
Yeah, you talk about Northampton and the consolidation that they went through. In fact, one year they had to play at the opposite school that they were going to because they didn't have a home field. They home field at the school, this closer school, I guess you could say. It had no stands because it was destroyed by a hurricane. So they've been going back and forth with that, getting buy-in from the schools to the east or the west. Well, this past November, they just passed, thanks to the state of North Carolina, they just got $15 million, and they're going to build a centrally located school in Northampton County so they can unite the county once again.
Thank you, Chris, and especially for Northampton County trying to win that first ever state title in any sport, not just football. They're up against it here early in this third quarter as it's a 2nd and 8 for the Jaguars on offense. Kendall under center. Gives to his big fullback, and not much room to operate for Jeremiah Johnson. A gain of just 1, setting up 3rd and 7.
And it's tough for any running back to run through tackles of a defensive line that are right there in the backfield, almost 3 steps into the handoff. I mean, this defensive line for Robbinsville are excellent. If you look there, Coleman Cable made a nice job. Grady Garland does a great job of getting off blocks.
3rd and 7. Kendall scrambles out left, gets a nice block. Kendall cuts across the field, now to the 40. A flag is down at the line of scrimmage, and Kendall gains 4. But this might be coming back. The flag was right at the early onset of the play.
I see a ref through his hat as well. That indicates another flag. So if a ref sees 2 penalties, he'll throw his hat for the 2nd flag, unless it was knocked off. Should be 2 penalties on this play.
We have a personal foul, face mask, Robbinsville. 15-yard penalty from the end of the run, 1st down.
What a boost for Northampton County, picking up the 1st down. Let's check out the face mask.
I just see Coleman Cable getting, oh, look at that huge block on the inside there by Jeremiah Johnson, number 30. And there's your face mask as Grady Garland sticks out that big paw against Zion Kendall, the quarterback, getting up the field. See all the pursuit of this defense of Robbinsville? They are just unbelievable, exhausting in their level of pursuit.
Trying to slow down a Northampton rushing attack that averages 320 yards a game. Kendall, misdirection, gives to Nchsaa. Nchsaa, his largest run of the day, 10 yards and a first down, as number 4 in white moves the chains for Northampton County.
Sometimes you need a little spark. They got the spark with the personal fouls. You see the replay here right in the middle of your screen. You see Nchsaa get the ball, cut to the inside, get up the field to the second and third level before he's taken down. Big gain on first down, second and short.
Officially a 2nd and 1 for Zion Kendall in this offense. Kendall, a toss out left. Here's Robinson. There's your first down. And he's shoved down from behind by Riley Anderson. Gain of 5 on the carry. All of a sudden, here's 6 minutes into this third quarter. We're starting to see Northampton County get some rhythm on offense.
Well, they're doing some things now. They're staying on blocks. They're pulling some of their guards to get to the outside perimeter to add an extra blocker to the athletes in the backfield. So something positive so far for the Jaguars.
1st and 10 from the 27. Quarterback keeper. Kendall cuts left, and he gets all the way to the 21-yard line. Gain of 6 on first down. Let's not forget in the first half, Northampton County, negative rushing yards. They've done a much better job moving the ball here in quarter number 3.
And Zion Kendall's done a good job when he has taken that ball from the mesh point, reading the defense, seeing the opening, getting up the field. He does have 14 fumbles on the year. It's something Robbinsville is attacking and they prepared for coming into today's game.
Just outside the red zone here in this third quarter. Kendall gives to Nchsaa. He's short of the first down after a gain of 2. A nice tackle by Candler Edwards, who's had an interception today. He's been huge on the offensive line and makes a strong tackle that time.
Nice job on the inside again. This defensive line, the Jaguars are just frustrated because they're getting the ball and the defensive lines in the backfield. Robbinsville does a great job, their entire defensive line, of getting off blocks, refusing to be blocked.
3rd and 2. Kendall, misdirection, spins away. He is dropped for a loss. All the way back to the 23-yard line. Nchsaa in there on the sack. Got some help from his defense, and now Northampton County with a 4th and 6.
If you just watch there, it looked like a little misdirection, ran one way to the far side, reversed field back to the near side, and you see everybody there. Grady Garland, Candler Edwards, Rossi Nchsaa, everybody's there. Great pursuit down the line of scrimmage by Grady Garland. This defense is sound today, Evan.
4th and 6. Northampton County must get to the 17. Kendall looks to pass, dumps it off. That is caught on the deflection. Nchsaa to the 5, and he is in. Nchsaa, little wall ball to himself, and he scoots in from 23 yards.
Like a little video game there. Nchsaa in the near side flat. Concentration was terrific. You see this coming in right there in your screen, right in the middle. Bobbles it, 1, 2, 3, secures it. Puts the ball in the right arm near the boundary, gets into the end zone for the touchdown. Nice athletic job by Nchsaa.
Northampton County does not kick extra points. They go for 2 every time, and doing so here after their first touchdown of the game. Kendall again to throw, lobs it out left. What a one-handed catch by Robinson, and here come the Jaguars with 4 minutes left in the third.
Hey, that's all they needed. That's all they needed coming out of halftime. They did some things that Coach Privet talked about.
When we come back, more from the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Welcome back to the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield. Here comes Northampton County. This incredible catch by Nchsaa, 23 yards, just his 2nd catch of the year.
Yeah, you see Clayson Lane, the number 15 defense, try to knock it out of his hands, almost did, and the focus of Nchsaa to get that ball secured in his hands and head to the pylon for the touchdown. Great athletic play by Nchsaa.
Northampton County, they only averaged 38 yards passing on the season, and Nchsaa juggling it to himself, beating the defense down the field, and then a 2-point conversion. Don't count out the Jaguars just yet. They've won 7 straight for a reason.
They sure have, and this is a sign of a lot of character and determination by this Jaguars football team.
Why you love high school football. Newsome just caught the touchdown. Now he's on for the squib kick. Here comes the onside. And a flag, another offside there from Northampton County. That's the 4th time they've done it in this game.
Prior to the kick,
boy, oh boy, that's got to cause the coaches for the Jaguars fits.
Wouldn't you not just decline the penalty? I guess it was before the kick.
Before the kick, yeah. So dead
the
ball
option there.
Yeah, it's it's a tough thing for coaches to accept when these penalties continue to happen. A physical penalty is one thing. A mental one is a completely different thing.
7 penalties for 58 yards for Northampton County today. Newsome again, another squib. This is fair, and recovered by Northampton County. Off the deflection, it's Robinson. The Jaguars have the football and they have momentum.
Second time's a charm, Evan. Because of that penalty, they had to kick again. Newsome gets it close on the line. A lot of things are going on there, and recovered by Eric Robinson, it looks like, from up here for the Jaguars. You're right, here comes the momentum, here come the Jaguars.
A scene from the longest yard. Here comes Northampton County trying to revive their campaign and secure a first ever state title against Titletown, North Carolina. Robbinsville, the 13-time champions.
What you want.
Kendall gives it left. Mitchell, a hard-earned 3 yards and a flag. Back to the line of scrimmage. This might be coming back.
Looks like they call holding on the inside.
Have holding, Northampton, 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, still first down.
The penalties continue. 9 penalties for 68 yards for Northampton County. Very uncharacteristic for George Privett's club. A team that was the #1 seed the last 2 years.
You see it right here on the inside, looking for the hold. It looks like right tackle Jamarius Moore there maybe have held on the inside. Tough to call.
Kendall scrambling to his right, looks to throw. Kendall, a jump ball down the field, and just through the hands of his 6'4" tight end, Davis. Went up awkwardly and landed just as tough as he was trying to bring in a huge reception.
And when he attacked the ball at its highest point and came down awkwardly, like you said, Evan, kind of bent backwards as he came down on the ground. Tough thing to see.
Official timeout, player injury.
Last thing you want to see in a title game like this is an injury.
Right.
And it's Jaquan Davis. He has 2 touchdown catches and went up for that ball at 6'4". Unfortunately, took the worst of it here on the Brooks Field grass at Wallace Wade Stadium.
Looks like they're working on his lower back there as he points to his lower back to the trainer.
To bring up how crazy this run has been for Northampton County, they did not complete a pass last week. They've only completed 5 passes all year.
Yeah.
And here they come in this third quarter with a touchdown pass to Newsome and now the football.
Best thing about football, you know, a lot of things can happen in any given game. Again, 87 yards, you're right, coming into today's game. And Zion Kendall only had 1 touchdown coming into today. So he's doubled his productivity with that touchdown pass to Najee Newsome.
Good to see the tight end, Jaquan Davis, get helped out to his sideline as Chris Hooks has more. Chris?
Well, that injury obviously something to look at. That the DV for Robbinsville looked like he slung him down on that play. But other injury updates, Jaden Lassiter, sophomore offensive lineman, he is having his right leg right now. Look, they're icing his ankle, it looks like. Back to you guys.
Robbinsville read the screen, but still loose and running near the sticks. And that is just short of a first down, but what a pitch and catch to Elijah Holland. All the options are coming out of the bag here for Northampton County.
Yeah, Elijah Holland with 98 yards coming into today's game. That little slip screen to the outside. You see Kendall wanted to fake it down the field. Nothing was there. Came back to the far side boundary to Elijah Holland, and then he lowers his shoulder, running through defenders, getting up the field. Huge gain on 2nd and long to bring up 3rd and short.
5th catch of the year for Holland. It's a 3rd and 1. What an exciting 2 minutes and 50 seconds we have left in this 3rd quarter. Kendall on the play action. Now Kendall elects to run, gets a block. Kendall cuts back inside, and he is right up against the sticks. Oh my gosh, it's a lateral down the far sideline, and inside the 20-yard line goes Zion Kendall. NFL street style in Northampton County.
Wow, things are changing here quickly, Evan. As you see Kendall here, get to the boundary, puts his foot in the turf. He's not taken down, and then he gets to the boundary, up the boundary, almost out the door. Wow, that's just keeping your legs churning. What a great play by Zion Kendall.
So elusive, he even threw us off in the booth.
It was a lateral.
What a run by Kendall. The escapability, plus for Zion Kendall.
And the body language has changed right now for the Jaguars on the sideline, on the field.
Does that timeout not tell you the story right now?
Yep.
As Northampton County feels like they're back into this game. Speaking of the basketball connection, there are 6 players on this team who play basketball and football together. And Coach Privet was telling us he's even the track coach that unifies it all.
That's right.
For this program.
And a lot of these kids play together in different sports. They're friends on and off the field. And that matters in games like this, especially when you're in a situation where, heck, we're down as much as we are. Came out in the second half, score, and about to go in and score again. That's something special for these kids. And obviously, Coach Privet has a good pulse on the connection of these guys.
Take a deep breath, guys. Coming up later today, during the 4th quarter of tonight's game, the Blue Cross and Blue Shield North Carolina play of the game. Be bold, be confident, live fearless. It was the Riley Anderson show in half number 1, but George Privet has made his fair share of adjustments. Rocking those Crocs, and his club is rocking a huge second half performance now inside the red zone. Kendall back under center on 1st and 10. Kendall tosses out left to Robinson. And a gain of just 1 on 1st down. Anderson on a tackle for Robbinsville.
Looks like that's what they're trying to do coming out here in the second half is get the ball into the hands of your playmakers right away. Showed it there with the quick pitch to Robinson to the outside. Comes up a little limp on that, but he's limping back to the huddle. Limping back to the huddle. They don't want to take him out of this game right now.
Northampton County, this is their biggest scoring quarter of the year. The 3rd quarter has been where they've excelled. Already 8 points here in the 3rd. Kendall on the keeper. Kendall to the 10, to the 5. Kendall is untouched. Into the end zone. Here comes Northampton County.
Look out. Here comes Northampton County, Evan, you're right. And Zion Kendall is leading the way. Great touchdown run here. And you see at the mesh point, right in the middle of your screen, he rides the fullback into the hole and pulls it out of the breadbasket because he knows he has a hole to run in, and he takes it in untouched. Maybe touched at the 4-yard line, but not enough to bring him down. He goes into the end zone. 2 quick scores coming out of halftime for the Jaguars.
Kendall in this offense going for 2. Kendall rolls to his left, throws across his body, and it's knocked away. Excellent play and coverage by number 11 on this Robbinsville defense, Seth Lawson. And now it's a 17-point game with 1:51 left in the 3rd.
That was big. That was a big conversion that wasn't capitalized upon for the Jaguars. But they have momentum now, Evan. They have emotion back on their sideline. You could just see it from up here, how they're just the body language is completely different than it was going in to halftime walking off this field.
A 20-yard touchdown for Zion Kendall. And all of a sudden, Northampton County, that did not score in the first half, they have 2 touchdowns and an impressive finish here by Kendall.
And a great replay again. Zion Kendall, different angle as you see number 1 crossing the goal line there, confident, no one's around him. The quarterback knew exactly what was happening in front of him. That's why he took it on his own, saw the hole, and took it into the end zone for his team.
Zion Kendall, the former running back, converted to QB in this offense. Now Nchsaa, another onside kick. Strong recovery, is jumping on top of the football. Is Cameron McGuire for Robbinsville. And now the Black Knights who have not had the football for much time in this half, started the third quarter with a touchdown. They would love one here late in the third quarter.
Oh, they really would. And, you know, now the Jaguars defense, you have to ask yourself, what are they going to do? Are they going to take some chances? What have they done defensively to adjust at halftime to stop these Black Knights?
Nathan Collins in the offense going to center on 1st and 10. Collins feeds it right. Anderson stretching to the near sideline, breaks through a tackle of Robinson, gets across midfield and into Northampton County territory. A flag is thrown late. A huge run on the first down conversion by Anderson. Waiting for Gary Russ with the ruling.
We have a 5-yard face mask penalty on the tackle, 5 yards from the end of the run, first down.
So adding on to a 15-yard run, Riley Anderson gets an extra 5 on the penalty. Boy, momentum is changing quickly here in this third quarter. A stop by Seth Lawson and a 2-point conversion. And now Robbinsville inside of Northampton County territory. Collins gives it off to Hooper. Hooper loses the football. Up for grabs, and Robbinsville's got it. Now moving forward with the pile. That is big number 63, Christopher Shope. And I want to mention with Shope, what an impressive recovery.
As you see number 20, Cooper getting in the hole. Just knocked out from behind, actually. Oh, just so close. And then the offensive line there looks like number 63, Chris Shope, with the recovery.
Anderson on the misdirection, cuts back to the middle of the field. And that's enough for the first down as Anderson gets across the sticks. Riley Anderson now over 150 yards rushing. It has not been as much in this third quarter, but when his team needed the most, a huge run.
What's been amazing this year, that could have been the 7th turnover of the year for Robbinsville, but only 6 turnovers coming in is an amazing feat for as much as they run the football.
For a team that's 14-0 trying to run the table. The defender for Northampton County got off the field just before the snap. It may not matter as Anderson cuts across the 25. And he's dragged down there by Eric Robinson after a gain of 8.
What you're not going to see on the score sheet, but Clayson Lane, number 15, who's playing in the fullback position a lot today, is clearing the way with blocking up the field. He's getting through the hole, and I watch him. He does not stop until the whistle. He doesn't turn around to find where his running backs are. He just keeps blocking up the field. An unsung hero for today's Robbinsville team is number 15, Clayson Lane.
Robbinsville has weathered the storm, now driving into the red zone as we start the fourth quarter. When we come back, more from Durham in the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina.
The Ingalls Advantage isn't just about savings or the best quality food for your family. It's more than that. It's the advantage of being a part of a community. That's why we provide over 2 million pounds of food every year through regular donations and programs like the Ingalls Giving Tree, Food for Thought, our turkey giveaway, and the Ingalls Fill a Backpack program. It's the right thing to do, and we know you do the same. Ingalls, your neighbor for over 50 years.
Okay.
Start of the fourth quarter here in Durham of the 1A State Championship game. Robbinsville with the football, marching towards the red zone. And what a stop by this Northampton County defense. The whistle blows after a gain of 1. A flurry of tacklers in on the stop, including Ziel Felix. And also big number 71, Travius Garner on the stop.
Yeah, that was a beautiful play on the inside by number 71. As you look at maybe a Travius Gardner, I mean, just a guy that just got off a block.
3rd and 1, going left. Anderson across the sticks and down to the 20-yard line. Riley Anderson able to move the chains on 3rd down. Neither team real successful on 3rd down in this game. That's the third down conversion for Robbinsville today. And they lean on their workhorse and Riley Anderson.
As you see, he takes a well-deserved break as Lex Hooper is in their tailback position. But that's the one thing you see about these running backs, Evan. They always fall forward, every time.
Now it's Hooper. Cuts back across the field. Hooper inside the 10. Hooper into the end zone. His first touchdown of the day. The rushing attack of Robbinsville unstoppable here in the fourth.
And that's the vision of a good running back. When you're stopped at the point of attack, you look back and see where the cut lane is, the cutback lane. And as the rain begins to fall here a little bit, Hooper gets in for another touchdown today.
Robbinsville responds after 2 straight touchdowns from Northampton. The kick from Klein is on the way, and it's good. Robbinsville back up 24 with 11 minutes left in this fourth quarter. More from the North Carolina High School Athletic Association 1A State Championship presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield North Carolina, and it's coming up next. Early in the fourth quarter here in the 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield North Carolina. Robbinsville with a critical scoring drive in response. Lex Hooper, a 20-yard rushing touchdown, caps this drive, 7 plays, 63 yards. And now Cody Klein to send this ball away. Kick returns have been a bugaboo for Northampton County today. Already 2 turnovers. Another pooch kick. Fair catch is called and made by the player who did not signal the fair catch. So instead a tackle in open space. You don't see that too often. Good field position here for Northampton County on the return there by number 20, Elijah Holland.
So he comes up hobbling. In a very dicey kicking game on both sides of the ball today.
Special teams living up to the first name in that equation. So we hit the first minute of this fourth quarter. That being said, we've seen plenty of offense, especially from Northampton County in this second half. What adjustments have they made?
Well, Northampton County, again, they got the ball in the hands of their athletes quickly, and the offensive line has done a better job coming out of halftime of staying on their blocks and making the adjustments to get up the field and get their athletes into space.
Kendall works out of the shotgun here on 1st and 10. Slips it out. Newsom with a catch of the 45. And dragged down by Clayson Lane after a gain of 5.
Clayson Lane has a motor that has not shut off since he was probably 10 years old. I mean, this kid is running sideline to sideline the entire game. He's blocking as a fullback on the offensive side of the ball, and right there, he makes a great tackle in space on the pursuit.
Over 100 tackles for Lane this season. Kendall pump fakes, rolls to his sideline, and he is dropped for a sack. Good stop behind the line of scrimmage. That's number 65, Grady Garland, with his second sack of the day.
You see Grady there, the senior, 230 pounds, 6'2" guy. One of the captains on this squad. And he's a guy that's playing that defensive end position. He establishes the edge, and he established it early on in this state championship game.
Garland and Wachacha setting the edge for this defense. More pressure on Kendall. Escapes one would-be tackler. Kendall rolling for his life. And look who's there to track him down. Again, number 15 in on the sack. A huge loss by Clayson Lane.
Clayson Lane, just his motor keeps running. And the thing that's amazing about this entire defense is how technically sound they are. Their responsibilities, everybody has to do their job. I know it sounds cliche and redundant, but when you play your 111th like they do, nobody tries to do too much. They do their job, which is just enough as a defensive football player, and it has shown that they have really taken over this game.
That has allowed this Robbinsville defense to hold Northampton to just 111 yards. The play clock is now down to 4, so a timeout is called. Well, that's an interesting decision, especially when you only have 2 timeouts left and you're giving up 5 yards, which would seem a bit irrelevant at this point.
To go, right.
Nonetheless, a timeout with 9:07 to go in this fourth quarter. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more from Durham here on the 1A State Championship.
When was the last time you felt free? It's time to uncover that feeling again with the compassion of a cross and shield, widely accepted by doctors and specialists, and the power of a card that opens doors in all 50 states, giving you the freedom to love, to dream, to dance like no one is watching. Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Live fearless.
It's all Robbinsville early in this fourth quarter, alongside Peter Montemurno, Evan Budrovich with you for the 1A State Championship broadcast presented by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of North Carolina. Northampton County called a timeout on a 4th and 16, now electing to go for it. And this might decide the 1A State Championship right here. Kwame Pitt, the freshman and a quarterback, on 4th down. Pitt steps up, flings it over the middle, passes knocked away. Good coverage by Seth Lawson in this defense. And Robbinsville gets excellent field position at the 37.
Not only that, Riley Anderson was also there in coverage, as you see the replay here, right in the middle of your screen. Post, a little bit of a skinny post route, but who gets in front of the intended receiver, Zion Kendall? None only than Riley Anderson, who has owned this game on the offensive side of the ball and made significant contributions on the defensive side of the ball as well, one being right there.
Northampton County on 4th downs today, they're 1 for 5, giving themselves tough field position on defense. Collins back to work under center, feeds it left to Anderson. A nice gain on 1st down as Anderson now over 160 yards rushing. He has 4 touchdowns. That's a season high. And this ground attack is starting to churn the clock late in the 4th.
And it's the ground attack that is led by this offensive line. Again, not a big one, 228 pounds going across the front, led by number 63, the center, the anchor, Chris Shope.
For more on Shope, down to Chris Hooks.
Yeah, guys, Chris Shope, when he was young, was injured in a lawn mowing accident, lost his left foot. As you can see, he's wearing a brace, and that helps him keep everything together. And Coach talked about how tough he was, probably the toughest guy on the team, just for what he has to go through to get ready for a game.
Thank you, Chris. And you see Shope there playing on essentially one healthy foot, but Coach Walsh was telling us he's the hardest working offensive lineman on this team, and despite his size, he's going to be competitive on every play.
And he sets an example. You know, he sets an example on his team as a senior, and a lot of players look up to him.
3rd down now and 7 for Robbinsville. Following that center and Shope. 2 yards short of the 1st down marker goes Lex Hooper. And now 4th and 2 coming up as Shope continues to power this offensive line, now rushing for over 260 yards today.
And they've done such a great job on this offensive line. Coming into today's game, they averaged 331 yards on the ground, and they've rushed for 67 touchdowns. This rushing attack is unbelievable.
4th down handoff to Hooper. He's got the first, spins inside the 25-yard line, and a gain of 5 on 4th down, moves the chains and keeps the clock running with 7:15 to go.
And Evan, you know, the storyline in this game, I think, was right away in the beginning, where Northampton County Jaguars were they were caught off guard, it almost seems like, and they could never recover after that opening kickoff that was fumbled and turned over to Robbinsville. They scored on that drive, and it was really hard for them to come back from that.
Anderson gets down to the 20, now in the red zone for Robbinsville. Northampton County trailed 24-0 at half, their largest halftime deficit of the year, and Robbinsville came right out in the second half, got the football when Anderson recovered that huge onside kick and marched down the field for a touchdown to make it 31-0.
And you know, they when they came out at halftime and then put 14 points on the board, you kind of felt the energy change in the stadium, change on the sideline. You saw the body language change. They put the ball in the end zone, and then Robbinsville just is Robbinsville and scored another touchdown on the ensuing drive.
Riley Anderson is taking defenders with them. Finally a tackle by Zael Felix down to the 17-yard line, and the 3rd and 3 coming up for Robbinsville.
And we talked about Chris Shope. As you see Riley Anderson taking a break on the sideline, we talk about number 63, Chris Shope. There was a point in the game where Lex Hooper was the running back and the ball was knocked out of his hands, and it was recovered by Chris Shope. That could have been disastrous for Robbinsville because it was right after North County scored that touchdown to get 14 points, and then if they turn that ball over, who knows what could happen from that point.
3rd and 3 on the way. Collins gives to Hooper. He breaks a tackle for the first down, and he's all the way to the 12-yard line. This rushing attack for Robbinsville living up to the billing. And a first down run for Robbinsville.
And what this Jaguar team has done, again led by George Privet, has been tremendous. The 7-game winning streak they've had after they had all the injuries, all the adversity of 4 and 3, and to come back to take them to this game, this says a lot about the coach and the players on that sideline for sure.
Northampton County would love a turnover right here, trying to strip loose Lex Hooper, and he keeps churning forward down to the 6-yard line. Hooper is now over 100 yards rushing. Anderson and Hooper have combined, we'll get the official numbers in just a second, but over 290 yards rushing between these two tailbacks.
When they get older, they may want to form a business. Anderson and Hooper sounds like a really good business, maybe a law firm.
So does Peter Montemurno as the name itself, but I don't know if Montemurno and Budrovich should be too hard to pronounce.
Checks in the mail, Evan, checks in the mail.
Residuals, that's the key. 2nd and 4 from the 6 for Robbinsville. Collins feeds Anderson. Boy, Riley Anderson is having himself a ball game. 5 touchdowns for the tailback, and Robbinsville putting the finishing touches on this win.
Another great run coming right into your living room, and he puts that foot in the earth, the right foot, and then gets up the field. A lot of power, a lot of vision, a lot of strength, a lot of leadership. Number 22, Riley Anderson.
Anderson with a career high 5 rushing touchdowns in one game, and Cody Klein drills the extra point. It's been a career day for Riley Anderson, cementing himself what looks to be a 14th state title for Robbinsville High School. This offense has dominated on the ground, 286 yards rushing, and really an ideal start for D. Walsh, the head coach who won 2 state titles as a player at Robbinsville and now looks to win his 2nd title in 5 years at his alma mater.
There's another number 22 in North Carolina that runs all over the place, Christian McCaffrey, the Panthers. He kind of looks like another number 22 that runs in this state.
Might be a long way to go for Anderson to break some major records. The all-time record in the championship game, 8 touchdowns by TJ Logan of Northern Guilford back in 2012. But right now, Anderson is 3rd best among rushers for touchdowns in a single championship game. Klein to boot this ball away. Fair catch is wisely called and held on to by Tevin Vincent. And now Northampton County, their backs against the wall with 4.5 minutes to go. Robbinsville knows how close they are to a victory, but that motto of finishing has been huge for them all season, and now they're 4 minutes from finishing an undefeated season.
I know Coach D. Walsh said this week that the whole community is excited, and the one thing we want to do is finish. He said that on Monday. He said it to Chris Hooks going into halftime, that we just want to finish. And they were already up big numbers, but they went in there saying, we're going to come out at halftime and play like we're from behind. And then that's telling for Coach D. Walsh. He has some schooling as an educator, as a coach.
And that schooling comes from Bob Colvin, the inventor of the Robbinsville wishbone offense back in the late 60s.
Game, Northampton, 5-yard penalty.
5-yard penalty here for Northampton County. So the Jaguars are backed up to start this drive late in the 4th quarter. Northampton County at 11-3 overall. came back up the ranks as a number 4 seed in this state tournament, defeated the league champion in the Roanoke 1A division, and now here in the finals. Nchsaa Newsome stretches across the field. So much speed for Newsome. He gets past the original 5 yards on the penalty, and a gain of 6 for Nchsaa Newsome, who's been playing through an injury all day long, and you see him nobbling there. Speaking of Newsome, time now to address our Blue Cross and Blue Shield North Carolina play of the game.
You see the rollout here by Zion and right into the hands of Nchsaa Newsome, and bobbled and juggled. And look at the focus right there. Placing the lane, almost knocks it out of his hands, but he has focus and athleticism all in stride, heading to the pylon. 6 points for the Jaguars. Great play of the game.
Be bold, be confident, live fearless. Tough running for Northampton County here on second down. There's a flag after the tackle with Nchsaa. Chopped down the quarterback in Zion Kendall. Waiting for Gary Russ with the ruling here as we tick near the final 4 minutes of this 1A state championship game. Penalties have started to add up for Northampton County. And let's see who this flag is on here after the second down run. Now our call is official.
After the play, we have a dead ball, personal foul on Northampton. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play will be 3rd down.
And let's look after the play here, Peter. This is where it all unfolds.
To your top of your screen here, number 23. Ow.
Ooh, that's unnecessary. You might want to say a possible ejection there, but the penalty is still huge in this instance. Backing up for a 3rd and 26. Kendall scrambling, flinging it down the field. A one-handed catch at the 45 and out near midfield. What a reception by Cargill. And there's a flag after the throw. An impressive reception from Holland.
Northampton, 10-yard penalty from the flag. Repeat, 3rd down.
So that negates the catch by Elijah Holland, and it pushes back Northampton County 10 more yards. So when things are even going right, some self-inflicted wounds really negate that drive.
Yeah, add insult to injury. On the left side of your screen, you'll see number 71.
That was not much of an attempt to block there, unfortunately.
No, that was a tackle. That was Travius Garner, the 6'2", 200-pound senior.
So all of a sudden, as the Chains move back to the 18-yard line,
frustration setting in.
It's a 3rd and 39, so a lot of work to be done. Northampton County scored 2 touchdowns in the 3rd quarter, had it within a 2-score game. But since then, it's been all Robbinsville here in the 4th. And now in comes the freshman, Kwame Pitt, under center on this 3rd and 39. Pitt feeds it off to Robinson, jukes out 2 defenders. He's still spinning. And like a disc jockey trying to keep the crowd alive at 2 in the morning, Robinson gets a hard-earned 7 yards. 4th down coming up. Northampton County here running out of time. Probably going to go for it on 4th down. The cowbells are playing for the Robbinsville folks.
Need more cowbell, Evan.
They know how close that finishing touch can be, just 3 minutes away from the state championship.
14th title.
And Northampton County forced to call a timeout. Backs against it on a 4th and 33. What more can you say about Northampton County? Enduring injured starters all throughout the regular season, a program that actually models itself after the Tarboro model.
Right.
That's something that George Privet has mentioned. He wants to build that culture. He invited his whole coaching staff out to Media Day, and we've seen that culture develop. But for Robbinsville, it's been a long process to get to this point, and they continue to excel.
And this is a building block for sure. This is something for them that they could take this experience that they had the entire year. This team will never be together again. It's a team that you have seniors graduating, so this group of guys will never be together playing football again. So it's going to be a special season. Yeah, they're going to look back when we lost the state title, but you know, the experience that they have, they're going to take with them for a lifetime.
Coming up tonight, the 1AA state title, the best passing team in the state, East Surrey, against the 2-time defending champions in Tarboro, the Vikings. That's at 7 o'clock, and that game would be very high scoring.
Well, I think so, Evan. I'm excited about this game coming up, and like you said, the quarterback for East Surrey, Jefferson Boaz, University of North Carolina commit. It's going to be something to see.
By the way, that punt is 46 yards off the boot of Nchsaa, our best special teams play of the day. And now Robbinsville facing a Northampton County team with no timeouts, just needs one more first down to put the icing on a cake of a state championship.
And a heck of a year it has been. You know, folks, it is not easy to win 15 games in the season. It is not easy at all to do that. And with all the things that happen in the season, injuries, with just things that happen on and off the field, the adversity that you experience, to win 15 games, I don't care if you're 15-0, there is adversity throughout a season, no matter what anybody tells you. And for them to come out on top is pretty tremendous.
Robbinsville last went 15-0 in 2014. That's when they won their previous state title. And we have a whistle before the snap.
Prior to snap, alt start, Robbinsville. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
To hopefully put a capper on the penalties. Robbinsville, 3 penalties, 23 yards. Northampton County, 90 yards in penalties today.
Yeah, that's something you can't have in the state championship game, in any game. And that's something that they're going to learn from. You know, the juniors that are coming up, sophomores, they're all going to learn from this experience today.
1st and 15. New tailback in there, number 17 on the carry. And getting some extra yards, Hunter Blevins, the junior tailback. He gained 6 on first down. This Robbinsville rushing attack, so impressive throughout the regular season. 330 yards per game. And on the year, Peter, if we count tonight's affair, they're nearing 5,000 yards rushing on the season.
It's amazing. And what's even more amazing, we touched on it before, Evan, you know, Nathan Collins ran the ball 92 times coming into tonight. Lex Hooper ran it 209 times. Riley Anderson ran it 239 times. All those times that you rushed the football, only 6 turnovers. That's amazing.
Final 2 minutes here in Durham as Robbinsville trying to close out a 1A state championship. Some love in the air as a backup offensive lineman checks in. Number 70, Terry Sellers, the junior. A fan favorite for the Robbinsville contingent. The center will exit late in this game. Gotta love those moments for these kids to celebrate a state title.
For certain. I mean, you had Isaac Wiggins in there, number 3, waving his arms, getting the crowd into it.
Here's Cameron McGuire, the backup quarterback, in there to hand it off. And churning his legs, Blevins gains 3 yards. Now we have one final play for Robbinsville, knocking on the door of a state title. A moment these kids will not forget. They walked on the field at Brooksfield at Wallace Wade Stadium before the game, taking it in, some selfies as well. And now they're a minute away from securing a program 14th state championship.
For players on both squads coming to a facility at Duke, such as Wallace Wade Stadium, it's an experience that you will not forget. So you take it all in, but you also got to remember the field is still 100 yards long. It's almost like a Hoosiers moment for some of the players, and the coaches have to keep that in check, and both of them did a pretty good job.
This is the final play. Blevins moves out to his right. And Northampton County gets the stop, so they get the football back. One last chance with 20 seconds to go. 25 officially. And now Northampton County gets one last gasp to close out their state title run. D. Walsh, he will not break a smile just yet, but he knows his team has pulled off an impressive undefeated season.
Yeah, Coach D. Walsh winning 2 titles himself as a player here in the 70s for Robbinsville, winning 1 as a coach in 2014. Now he cracked a smile there, looking back at his players, knowing that, hey, title number 14 is on his watch.
Could you say he's reached the finish line? And for George Privet, trying to build this Northampton County program, what an impressive run to get to the championship game, but it'll come up short here tonight. Final 25 seconds in Durham for Zion Kendall in this offense. Kendall tosses it out to Robinson, breaks the tackle of Riley Anderson. Eric Robinson, a hard-earned 4 yards on that carry, and that should close out the final seconds here in this 1A state title. The Robbinsville Black Knights finish off an undefeated regular season, a perfect run in the postseason, and more importantly, Titletown adds a new chapter, a 14th state championship for the Robbinsville Black Knights after an impressive win over Northampton County here tonight.
Well, congratulations to head coach Dee Walsh and Robbinsville High School, the town of Robbinsville. I mean, it's a town with a lot of pride. A lot of them, almost all of them, came out tonight as we look down here in the stands, and they're celebrating and enjoying a victory, the 14th state title for the Robbinsville Black Knights.
For Northampton County, their first ever trip to the state championship game. It comes up a bit short here tonight. Your final score, Robbinsville 45, Northampton County 14. Certainly an impressive performance for Dee Walsh, the winning head coach. We got Chris Hooks down on the field to talk with the winning head coach. Chris?
Coach, congratulations on winning the school's 14th state championship. What does this mean to you to win it, not only for yourself, your second time, but to win it on the 50th anniversary of your brother's 1969 state championship?
I'm fortunate and lucky to be a part of this program. This program won this game, and these kids won these games, and this assistant coaches in our community. And you know, we're all in this together. And if it wasn't for all them and all these kids and coaches, we wouldn't be here. We do an awesome job, and we're just tickled to death. This was what our goal was, and we finished.
Like I said, your goal was to make this town proud. You did that. What was the key today? It just seemed like every time that Northampton County made a mistake, you guys just pounced on it.
Our offensive line's awesome. They just block, and we run that ball, and we control the clock in every game, and that was our plan today, and it worked. And we're proud of them.
Again, talk about your leaders in the backfield, Hooper and Anderson.
Well, you saw them. I mean, when they get some room, they make things happen. They know where that goal line is. They're hungry, and they do a good job. You know, all these kids did. Our quarterback did a good job leading this team. Our defense was awesome. We tell them all the time that defense wins championship, and it did it for us again today.
Coach, congratulations on that. I know you got to find some room for that 14th state championship.
All right, thank you. We'll do that.
Back to you guys.
Dee Walsh, a happy camper as his Robbinsville Black Knights pick up a state title. When we come back, the trophy presentation from Durham as Robbinsville is your 1A state title.
Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to midfield for the awards presentation. Presenting the awards for this game will be Brad Alford, Director of Sports and Championships for the NCHSAA, Sandy George, past president of the NCHSA Board of Directors. Wells Fargo is the official sponsor of the NCHSAA Awards program. Now, we ask the captains and the head coach of Northampton to come forward to receive the state runner-up plaque. At this time, we recognize head coach George Privet for the state runner-up Northampton Jaguars. Come forward to receive a special plaque of recognition. Please join us in a round of applause for Northampton. You have had an outstanding And now introducing the 2019 1A North Carolina High School.
There's the prize worth fighting for, the 1A state championship trophy. It is going back to Robbinsville, a 14-time champion And the captains awarded the trophy here at midfield at Wallace Wade Stadium, enjoying the fruits of a 45-14 win. Peter Montemurno and Evan Budrovich with you this evening. And Peter, what a performance by this Robbinsville rushing attack. 304 yards on the ground, 5 touchdowns for Riley Anderson, and a moment to celebrate as 1A state champions. We'd like to take a moment to thank our sponsors for this broadcast, the North Carolina Athletic Association, the Blue Cross and Blue Shield North Carolina, Hardee's, and Ingalls Markets. Stay tuned tonight for the 1AA state championship game, East Surrey and Tarboro. That's coming up at 7 o'clock. But for tonight, signing off from Durham, a 1A state championship for the Robbinsville Black Knights.
This is where it starts, where your story begins. This is the trail you blaze yourself. And step by step, you get stronger, faster, better. This is where it starts. How will you finish? Ingalls, we're with you every step of the way.
NCHSAA state championship. However, one stood out. And this individual was selected by a panel of media covering tonight's game as the championship's most valuable player. The most valuable player for this NCAA state championship is number 22, Riley Anderson. Thank you for attending tonight's 2019 NCHSAA Football Championship. If you are staying for our second game today, please be reminded there is no re-entry without the purchase of another ticket. Congratulations to both our teams on outstanding seasons. If you are leaving us after this game, the Governor's Highway Safety Program wants you to buckle up before heading home from the NCHSAA Football State Championships. Every seat, every time. This message is brought to you by the Governor's Highway Safety Program, Click It or Ticket Program, and the North Carolina High School Athletic Association.